When a video game releases yearly, developers have just one question to ask themselves. Why should players buy the next game? For over 15 years at this point, the WWE gaming series from the years 2000 to 2015 had an answer to that. Every game had to feel different. You had to give them a unique value proposition. A selling point is probably the best way to explain it. And they did that until the year 2016. In 2016, the next installment of 2K series put an end to that. Now, by no means, this game is not broken. This game is not unplayable. It's just has a hard time convincing us why it should exist outside of the yearly update. We're talking about WWE 2K17, the game where the 2K series, looking like every single year afterwards, felt less like a yearly update and more of a empty upgrade is the best way of explaining it. Now, again, everything I've been talking about for the past few streams about 2K, their marketing, it kind of all comes together with this game. Again, I must stress, this game is not bad. This game is not unplayable by any means. It's a solid game. It's just with a yearly release, you have to convince the consumer to buy this next one. And hopefully you'll see throughout this stream why this was a hard sell for people. What's up? Sorry, miss. No, you're all good, Sarah. I appreciate you being here. You're here already, so that's it was always fine. What's up, Michael? And sorry, I'm irritated. No, you're all good. I'm glad you guys are here. I know today is Monday Night Raw. I'm pretty sure there's an alternative for you guys to watch something. The fact that you're here to talk with me talking about a game from that released in 2016, that means more to me than anything. So I appreciate it, guys. Thanks. So just, our usual, well, we'll get to that. My bad. We'll get to that. WWE 2K17, published by 2K, developed by Ukes, and co-developed by Visual Concepts. The and TKO ruined wrestling. I have not watched any wrestling since WrestleMania 42. Not because I just didn't choose, because of this event. I have not watched any of it. I only watched the ending of Roman Reigns CM Punk. I only seen highlights and what people said on X. I have not actually took the time to fully give my opinion on it since I haven't watched it. So I'm not saying you're wrong, Mustafa. I'm just saying, was it bad? Oh yeah, I'm just taking your word for it. I just have no idea. I won't be able to watch until, I'm like 3 episodes behind, and I'm gonna miss Backlash. So because I believe this event ends next Monday, if my math is correct. So I'm gonna miss Backlash, and I'm gonna miss Monday Night Raw, and then I gotta catch up to see what the heck has been going on. So I'll see. But yeah, so the usual spill of that. And also significant to represent, this game was released on the Xbox One, the PS4, the Xbox 360, the PS3, and once again later for the Wii. This will be the final time. I said for the Wii, the Steam PC. This will also be the final time that it would release later on Steam. Moving forward with 2K18 onwards, it will be released simultaneously with the Xbox One and PS4. You see, I didn't mention the Xbox 360 and PS3. Well, okay, this would be the final game to be released on the Xbox 360 and PS3. At this time, it was the longest tenured generation to have the WWE 2K series. Started all the way back in 2007, and now ended with 2K17. Literally a decade of it being on Xbox 360 and the PS3. And once again, just to show you some graphical comparisons, right here, you see the next gen version with the returning Road Dogg and Billy Gunn with his DX attire. And then the last gen version showing all Bray Wyatt and Dolph Ziggler. Once again, there's no difference between what was in 2K16 and 15 for the last gen version. They basically still look like 2K14, which is not inherently a bad thing, but you could tell either one, the developers felt like they pushed the system to its limits. They can't update it graphically anymore. And 2, they knew this was their last rodeo anyway, so no need to update it. I remember I pre-ordered the deluxe edition and still couldn't get the NXT pack. I got hurt like hell. It was an exclusive to collector's edition. They fixed that in 2K18. That's crazy. You didn't? Yeah, so funny story. I guess we're about to get into. We're about to get into the whole 2K17. Like I said, everything that people starts to hate about marketing 2K, all of this coincides with this game. Like questionable roster decisions and whatnot. It all happened with this game. But yeah, to answer your question, though, yeah, I didn't think about that in hindsight. So I actually had the NXT Collector's Edition. I bought it because, again, I was a huge fan of NXT at the time. I didn't realize it wasn't part of the deluxe edition, so you didn't get it. It was exclusively to them. So that really sucked. And again, we're going to talk about the DLC, but again, just scummy. It's not just 2K. Any pre-order, I despise pre-order bonus or first day DLC. It makes no sense. They're basically cheating you out of content that was already in the game, because best believe Shinsuke Nakamura, Nia Jax, and Apollo Crews are all in the game. You do not have to buy the NXT edition. Same thing with Goldberg. They're just locked out, and you have to put in a code to unlock them from the game that you already paid $60 for. But that's neither here nor there. Now, normally this would be the part of the, if you guys been familiar with my stream, normally this would be the part about, well, what is the selling point of this game? And that's what we got to get into. Before that, time for a history lesson, right? Time for a history lesson. As I said earlier in the opening of the stream, the WWE series, at least under THQ, whether they did it intentionally or not, they somehow, for 15 years straight, gave a interesting value proposition, a selling point to every single game that got released, every single year. Let's go through memory lane, shall we? The original SmackDown started the series, obviously. It set the foundation. And less than 6 months later, SmackDown 2 released the same year. Despite only being 6 months, they doubled the roster. They added a completely expansive season mode and new match types like the Hell in a Cell and Casket in less than 6 months. Worthy of a new purchase. Just bring it. The first game on the next gen system, the PS2, it introduced the 8-man tag and while not good, a completely different story mode, which has some type of replay value, but it is very short. But it was something new regardless. SmackDown shuts your mouth. Again, expansive story mode, one of the best story modes they have. Changed the grappling system a little bit, and what's unique to this game, the draft. This season mode is the only one that has a draft to it, and a 2-year season mode. Something unique to it. Here Comes the Pain perfected the arcade system, added the Star of the Legends roster, and the incredible season mode where every playthrough is a completely different experience. So those are the SmackDown series. For the SmackDown vs. Raw series, the first one that started it. Licensed soundtracks, a distinct clean and dirty meter system. So yes, superstars now are defined as a babyface or heel. That started in this game. 2006, obviously the debut of the simulation style, as well as the debut of GM mode. 2007, the debut of the ultimate control moves, and also the first game to be released on Xbox 360, but mainly it's known for the ultimate controls. 2008, the controversial yet very unique fighting style systems, also ECW Extreme Rules and the ECW roster. 2009, the tag team overhauled gameplay, the Road to WrestleMania creative finisher, that all happened in 2009. 2010 expanded upon that by giving us creative story. Still a mode that has yet to come back, but people are still asking for it, and once again a unique set of Road to WrestleMania. SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 capping off the SmackDown vs. Raw series with the physics engine and the debut of Universe mode. Also a very unique Road to WrestleMania experience where the only one you could walk around like a hub. That was the SmackDown vs. Raw series. The brief WWE series, WWE 12, had the Predator technology and also introduced Creator Arena. WWE 13 had the historic Attitude Era mode, as well as returning match types, as even though it wasn't, keep in mind they never advertised the returning match, I'm just bringing it up for a very specific reason. I Quit, Jesus Christ, special guest referee, and I believe First Blood is always in, but I Quit and special guest referee. And then we go to the current 2K series with 2K14, 30 years of WrestleMania, defeat the streak. 2K15, yes, the jump to next gen was horrible, but at least it had the first ever My Career. And then 2K16 touted the largest roster of all time, which it was, as well as the unique and probably the best one to this date, Stone Cold Showcase. So you see throughout the years, every game there was a reason to play. They're all self-contained. They all have a value proposition. Now, I really try to figure out what was so special about this game. I got nothing. We're gonna go through exactly what the features that they told you, and then you're gonna tell me if it was worth the if it was worth the $60 upgrade that you had to buy, or the collector's edition with the season pass. You're looking at anywhere about $100 at the time. So we're gonna go through what is the new stuff to convince you to buy this game. You're gonna know some of that stuff's gonna sound familiar. Give me 1 second. So the new features list in WWE 2K17. I remember seeing the 2K17 trailer. Again, good trailer. Do not get me wrong. Goldberg, that was cool with the marching, and then the famous what was it, downtown thing with the commercial with Brock Lesnar. It's good stuff. The marketing wise, it's not the issue. It's just me buying the game. And then we start to have the problem. So here is the official. Actually, I'm going to give them credit. I'm going to try to give them as much credit as possible. We're going to hey, welcome to Suplex City. Okay. So immersive gameplay, more experience the most authentic WWE gameplay ever. This is what they tout as the selling point, featuring thousands of new moves and animations, backstage and in-ring brawling, the biggest roster of WWE and NXT superstars legends to date. So again, thousands of new moves and animations. You mean the thing that you always add every year? You never touted that before now. Okay. The powerful creation suite. You have the creative video, which I know this might sound crazy. That was in the game before. We'll talk about that. Creative victory. They hyped it up as something brand new, but in reality is just changing the animation of the ending of your match. And the highlight replay system. Again, the audacity of them promoting something that was already in the game beforehand is just staggering. My career, the thing that was already in the previous 2 years. But now they had an old new promo engine. We'll talk about that. And then the soundtrack by P. Diddy. Again, I wish I could tell you there was any more to that, but no. So here were the official new listings of new, as I put in quotations, for 2K17. Fighting in the crowd and backstage. So maybe I'm crazy, but as you saw through the previous through the previous streams, we did fight in the crowd and backstage in the PS2 games. Keep in mind, so I wouldn't really call that new. Updated responses and controls. Well, that's normally what happens when the quality of life gameplays. Updated ladders, taunts, and new secondary submission system, which is the button mashing submission system. And in terms of the updated ladders and taunts, they suck because you have to now place the ladder in 5 predetermined spots. The uniqueness of putting a ladder anywhere died in this game, and also this is the last game to have any type of physics that were left from the original SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, which started it. That was a new animation, stuff that happens in every game. Rollout and multi-man matches. Yes, I will admit, even though they didn't advertise this as a main feature, this is very good for multi-man matches. More adjustments for body, hair, and created wrestlers. Cool. Highlight replay system. They call it the highlight replay system because they don't want to call it the highlight reel, because if they call it that, they're going to realize people would know they already had it in there. Creative video. Again, that was in WWE 12, where you could put it as the entrance thing. Like, this is nothing new. Creative victory is literally just allowing you to finally sign a unique victory scene to your creative wrestler. I wish I could making this up. New universe flow that focuses on Raw, SmackDown, Live, and NXT. We'll get to that. The run-ins, which already was in the previous game, but now you can do pre and post match attacks. A new promo engine, which we'll get to. New universe cutscenes, which there always tend to be new ones, and backstage interviews that can break into backstage brawls, which again is exclusive to my career. That's it. Now, I just don't know what to tell you. Remember when they removed all the retro entrances in 2K? That's what I'm saying. So like now they pretend like, yeah, we're adding some new stuff. There was no exclusive entrances in 2K15. That's why, again, this is the drip feeding of, oh yeah, now you're getting the original, but they're selling it as new. So on the topic of where was it? That was it. So since they have no selling point, right? Since they have no selling point whatsoever, The only thing that they can rely on are two things, which is every single year. The minor quality of life updates, or hopefully you would expect more, but not in this game because this game looks exactly like 2K16. Don't believe me? Here is the entrance. Well, here's just the entrance for Finn Balor, which is, again, cool entrance. It was based off the, NXT London. But the game looks practically the same as, see with the PS4 version, the game looks practically the same as 2K16. There's no difference in graphics. I wish I was making, same thing with Brock Lesnar. Well, Brock Lesnar looks like Brock Lesnar from WWE 12 and the Xbox 360 and PS3, but Brock Lesnar looks literally the same, as well as Paul Heyman from 2K16. Again, no difference. No difference. And then you have Sasha and Paige, which, speaking, wow, what perfect timing. So, as I said, if you can't rely on any new features or quality of life updates, we have one more thing we can pull out of our sleeves: the roster. They are essentially banking on the updated roster to sell this game. And by that, I mean 5 specific superstars. Obviously, the anticipated WWE game debut of AJ Styles, who debuted at the Royal Rumble earlier that year. So they were banking on him being part of that. And most importantly, the 4 horsewomen: Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, and Bayley. They're making their highly anticipated debuts in 2K17. The PS3 version doesn't have crowd fight, so that even sucks even more. Oh, yeah, so that sucks even more. Oh my god. I didn't even know that. Yeah, because they took it out since SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. So that's even worse. So what do you guys actually have in that game, in the last gen version? I guess they killed it off. But on the topic of the 4 horsewomen. Now, again, it's great that they're in the game. But this game came out in 2016. Now, as you know, the 4 horsewomen has been a thing. The 4 horsewomen has been a thing since mid to late 2014. So at minimum, they should have been in 2K16, right? So a picture that Rhino advertised the game, but he wasn't in the game. Yeah, he came at the last. I know he should have been in this game, but he didn't show up on Raw, or I mean, he didn't show up on SmackDown until way after the game's development. But he should have been in. But this is you pointing that out kind of proves my point on this. This is my point. They pick and choose what they want to do here. The 4 horsewomen has been a thing. All these women have been in WWE since 2014. Essentially, they've all been here since 2014. At the very minimum, they should have been 2K16. Well, let's see what they had to say. And literally, I can't think of any other time they've done this. They actually had to do a press release for I purposely avoided showing this yesterday because this was for 2K16, but it makes more sense to show it here. I remember this clear as day too. I don't have the original website listing because it just redirects to 2K26, but they actually had to put out a press release about the status of the 4 horsewomen. So here's exactly what they said. And I quote: "The Divas, where is it? There it is. We pushed hard. No. On Friday, with our final roster reveal this past Monday, it was awesome seeing the excitement for the New Day, Enzo and Cass, and Mikey Whipwreck. Okay, and more. But it was clear that some in the community were frustrated about the lack of the newer divas added to the main WWE roster recently. I want you to keep that in mind because at this point, Sasha, Charlotte, and Becky were already on the main roster. I really want to stress that. Back in 2015. We pushed as hard as we could to include Sasha, Charlotte, Becky, and Bayley in 2K16, but it simply did not work out for various reasons. While we're not divulging full details on 2K16's post-launch plans just yet, we can confirm that the 4 horsewomen will not be available with DLC. So they already told you guys that, nah, these 4 women have been in the company since 2014. We're not putting them in 2K16. That wouldn't make any sense. Keep in mind, Cameron and Eva Marie were in NXT, but they were somehow in 2K16. So it's like, it's almost as if, was that Sasha Banks' last game was 2K17? No. Her last game was 2K22, which is where we'll eventually get there. Alberto's skin was dark compared to 2K15 model. Oh, really? I'm going to have to see that then. I guess we could use the one in gameplay. But again, I bring this up is because this leads me to the, again, if it was about timing, right? So timing was the reason why they allegedly couldn't be in the game. My tinfoil hat theory is very simple. They knew when they were making 2K17, they had nothing. They had zip, nada. There's nothing for us to. There is nothing we can sell them for the next game because game development overlaps with each other. While 2K16 is being developed, there's a small group of people already working on 2K17. They probably knew we had nothing for this game, so we're gonna hold these 4 very popular women and just wait for 2K17 so we can sell. Otherwise, there's no reason. Think about it. If the 4 horsewomen, AJ Styles, there was no way they could add them in there. Because it was just the game came out before AJ Styles' debut. If they were to put the 4 horsewomen, honest question, if they were to put the 4 horsewomen in 2K16, what would be the reason to buy 2K17 outside of Asuka? Because they're already in, like, the roster is pretty much, AJ Styles and Asuka. I'm sorry, as much as I love AJ Styles and Asuka, probably nobody was going to pay $60 just for 2 extra people they were going to play as. No, that's... They just knew they had nothing. A similar situation happened with 2K22, which we'll talk about. One American Nightmare, which they could have easily added him as DLC, but they decided not to do that because they knew they couldn't sell 2K23, which we'll get to. But now we're gonna circle back to this DLC, which is, 2K18's DLC is more egregious. Do not get. I think 2K18's DLC is the most shameful. Like, no shame. They have no shame for what they do to 2K18 DLC. But this, I'm gonna explain why this. I'm gonna explain why this really doesn't make any sense in terms of timeline. So 2K17 DLC. First off, Goldberg. Okay, keep in mind he didn't show up until he didn't properly show back up on WWE television until the fall, so it makes perfect sense. Obviously, we're expecting him to be in the game. Now you have the NXT enhancement pack, and this is where, again, predatory practices start to come into play. We have Apollo Crews, Nia Jax, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Now that's all fine and dandy, right? Because they're selling this as a collector's edition, and you can buy it for a suggested price of $5.99. Cool beans. Here's the problem: outside of Shinsuke Nakamura, right? So they're in 18 and 19. Oh yeah, that's what I said. 18 is the most shameless DLC of all. Like they have no shame. This is not bad, but it's just like, again, outside of Shinsuke Nakamura, which I guess you can argue he had to be DLC by the time he came out. Apollo Crews and Nia Jax. Nia Jax debuted less than a month after Asuka, and Apollo Crews debuted before Asuka. Yet Asuka is somehow in the base roster, but not Apollo Crews or Nia Jax, nor Shinsuke. Keep in mind though, Shinsuke basically debuted a month after AJ Styles. They could have easily put him in. It's almost as if these people were already in the game to begin with. They just took them out because of the Cell Collector Edition. All right, that's exactly what they did, because if you look at that date, that's the same date the game came out. So it's like this is not even a pre-order bonus. It's like you have to buy a collector edition just to access these people, but they're basically they are in the game. They're literally in the game, but they took out these 3 specific people just to sell you a collector's edition. So like that is disgusting to me. Now you look at the Legends pack, and like some of them, okay, Brutus Beefcake hasn't been in there in a while. Greg, has he been there all up to this point? Greg Valentine? No. Psycho Sid has been a while, so sure. And Tatanka. Eddie Guerrero. Keep in mind, this man was on disc for 2K14. So not even 3 years ago. And now you're reselling me back to him as DLC. It's like, what are we doing, people? What are we doing? They keep reselling us the same people over and over again. They just recycle them in, recycle them out. And again, yes, Eddie's passed away, so it's not like he's gonna have an updated, like, I know this might sound offensive, it's not like he's gonna have an updated character model. So what are we doing here? You didn't take him out to update his character model. He's gonna look. There's only so many ways you can make him not look similar to what. There's no more ways you can update Eddie Guerrero. So I don't know why you have to make him DLC. It just doesn't make any sense. He was in 2K14. The new moves pack, cool. And then always get a chuckle out of this, the Future Stars pack. Once again, Ty Dillinger, even though he got released but then came back. And none of these stars in the company. Although if you want to play as Austin Aries, this is literally the only, if you didn't buy the DLC, the only way to play as Austin Aries was this game through the DLC. So unless you have a PC version of this game, you're kind of screwed. But circling back to this, again, this is so egregious. Mojo Rawley, right? I can understand Ty Dillinger wasn't as popular, but Mojo Rawley was already on the main roster by the time this game came out. He was on SmackDown. So he's DLC for a pack that doesn't come out until January the following year. You know, he's been on the main roster since July. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows came literally 2 weeks after WrestleMania, but somehow you have to wait. Somehow you have to wait until January for him to get released. This makes no sense. They should have been in the base roster, or at the very this, like, again, they have to sell a DLC. It just, this makes no sense. These two guys should have been base roster, as well as, again, Austin Aries should have been in day one with Shinsuke Nakamura. In case you guys forget, both of these two made their in-ring debut at the same event. So once again, if Shinsuke Nakamura could have been day one DLC, so can Austin Aries. But yeah, still better. Oh wait, I missed what you said, Mustafa. My bad. It said you retracted. I didn't see what you said. I was actually about to read it. And then yes, the Hall of Fame Showcase DLC. We're gonna talk about the Hall of Fame because in terms of the showcase, we're about to get into that. Essentially, you get Albert, Big Boss Man again, even though he was he was just in 2K16. You just get another variant of him. Big Show, Bret Hart, Buddy Roberts, Cactus Jack, DDP, who once again was already in the game to begin with, Ivory, Jacqueline, which is, I mean, these two, Ivory and Jacqueline, you'll get a lot of them nowadays. Jimmy Garvin, Devon Eriks, Michael Hayes, Papa Shango, Ric Flair, Sting 98, The Godfather. God, Hall of Fame Showcase was horrible. Big Boss Man lost to Big Show. Yeah. I remember that feud. That was the one with the whole casket and Big Show. Oh my god, that was the Attitude Era, so fun. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Wish I could tell you that's was their DLC offering. Again, you're gonna see what Shameless is tomorrow with 2K18's DLC. They had no shame on that one. But now we can actually get into the game, because I tried it in Papa Shango versus Godfather. I know. Now again, we can get to the actual gameplay. Now, despite all the criticism, I will say this might be a hot take for some people. I actually like the menu aspect. It's future job. I know all of them except, I mean, even Ty Dillinger. Yeah, he's jobber, but it's like none of them are in the company except for Ty Dillinger. Funny how that works. They're supposed to be the future star, but none of them are in the company. Now, again, this might sound like a hot take. I actually have no issue with how the screen was and how the presentation of this screen was. I feel like they actually executed this perfectly. Minimalist, everything looks clean, like Apple UI. I'm a fan of that. I know this is not everyone's cup of tea, but again, at least it gives the game an identity. It's not like nowadays where every single menu looks exactly the same in the current games. They're just swapping out people who are just presented on the screen. This is a very unique menu, so I will give them that much credit. So yeah, play the 2K Showcase. Now, this will be the part where I would tell you we're gonna be playing as Brock Lesnar's showcase. Well, that Hall of Fame DLC roster I was telling you about, that's it, because they took out Showcase. Now, once again, I already told you, outside of roster update, there was no reason to buy this game. They literally took out the single player campaign. Not My Career. I'm talking the regular single player campaign. The Showcase that's been in the game basically since 13. It was just called something different. Attitude Era mode, 30 years WrestleMania. The historical mode of the game they took out. The only way you could have any type of semblance of that was the DLC. So if you don't have DLC, this game is even more barren. You're now paying $60 for less content for the same exact game. The graphics look exactly the same. Keep in mind, this is the last game to have these type of graphics. 2K18 updated the graphics. I loved Ride by 21 Pilots. It is in the soundtrack. We'll go over it. Do I not have the soundtrack up? Hold up. I did not actually open the page for the soundtrack. 1 second. I have that. There we go. We'll talk about the soundtrack in a little bit. But yeah, I have like 3 favorite songs on 2K17 when I listen to her religiously. But yeah, that's it. My Career, as you can see, I've never touched a day of my life, so this is gonna be the first time I'm gonna be doing it on stream, showcasing My Career. Universe, we could do a new load one. The issue was when it first came out, there was a bug with the ranking system. Creations, again, same as always. Community creations, what's that? Can't do it anymore. Online, what's that? Can't do it anymore. The other superstars options, and that's pretty much it. You are good. That is the extent you're gonna get. So gameplay. Let's just tout what they were trying to sell us, shall we? I mean, let's just try to showcase what they were trying to sell us as new. First off, why not use the cover superstar Brock Lesnar? And we'll go against Roman Reigns, because why not? Why not? Again, I will showcase the entrances, but it's literally the same. There is no difference. There is no difference in terms of a new entrance presentation. It's all the same. Keep in mind, every SmackDown game always looked, except for SmackDown 2, SmackDown, every game looked uniquely different, even if it was a tiny bit of polish. There is none. I mean, they did. I think this was the one that they updated Brock's entrance. Or I believe they actually updated it in 2K16. I want to give them that much credit. Then you have Roman. But yeah, in terms of gameplay, once again, you have your reversal stocks from the previous game. But then outside of that, there's nothing really. There is somewhat of a different, I think, slightly different controller layout. Let me see. Controls, I think there's something slightly different. Not really, no. It looks exactly the same to me. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like I said, if you care about a roster update, because the speed of the game is practically the same as 2K16, unless you care about the roster update, the 4 horsewomen and AJ Styles, which that's what they were banking on. There's not much to this game. Yes, you have JBL right there on commentary, which I believe he was in 2K16. I forgot to point out. And one of their quote-unquote new features, which was in the game previously, you can now fight in the crowd. Keep in mind, it wasn't until the current game. If you believe me if I told you, it wasn't until the current game where you can freely walk anywhere. You see, you're in a predetermined walking stance. A pre-animated Roman only had 3 reversal limits, which is crazy. You would think he would have 5. I think Cena had all 5 actually. To be fair, Roman doesn't really reverse a lot. He just kicks out with 2 on for John Cena. But I mean, I must ask. I mean, again, I must stress, there is no gameplay wise. The issue with here's the biggest issue with 2K17 is okay. So now you can just fight in the crowd. Now we're gonna go backstage, or at least I'm gonna try to bait them to go backstage. You have the new backstage here, which I'll admit are, again, they're big and different, but it's like you're touting this as something new, where this has been previous games. And unfortunately, what hurt this game the most, I do not blame the developers. This was the year where they reintroduced the brand split. So by the time this game came out, everything was so outdated. The arenas were outdated. The logo was outdated. The championships were outdated. It was like, I don't fault them for that. That's why it's like there was no reason for this game to come out. We could just wait till 2K18 to call it a day. But yeah, she could fight backstage, but this is more have to do with the how the game is presented in my career, I believe. So yes, I mean, one of the few times where you could actually fight in quote unquote gorilla. This does not look like gorilla at all in real life. Filler game. That's what this game and tomorrow's stream is just filler. 2K, you know what's funny about that? You can pretty much pinpoint where Ukes had their breaking point was probably this in 2K18. Because as I told you earlier in the stream, well, first off, thanks for stopping by, Kwame. If you actually are just stopping by, what the heck is Roman doing? Oh my God, what is Roman doing? Every game up until this point had a unique selling point. Whether it was good or bad, it had a unique selling point. This was the first game where it's like, if you already own 2K16, unless you think AJ Styles and the 4 Horsewomen and Asuka are worth the $60 upgrade, just stay with 2K16 and call it a day. This was the game that did it. I feel bad because, like, again, presentation wise, I love the menu. I know people hate this menu for some reason. I think it looks super clean and minimalist. I'm always a fan of that. But outside of how it looks is a perfect example of how something looks. Roman was on the cover for 2K20 and 2K25. He's up there with Cena and Punk. Cena just has to have one more cover. Actually, on that topic, because I was thinking about 2K Showcase now more than ever. Now that we just played through Stone Cold yesterday, I was really thinking about the showcase. Honest to God, I know this is going to sound crazy and completely diabolical if 2K does it. What if they just have John Cena? His career just ended. They're going to do another John Cena showcase, but hopefully the right way. But that's giving them too much credit. Like they can't do it the right way because that's just giving them too much credit. That's really the only other person I could think of that would really sell it. John Cena's going to be on the cover once again. Because, I mean, out of this position, who can be on the cover? Who? Like, the next game, who's going to be on the cover? I have to think about it. That hasn't already been on it. I'm trying to think, like, who in the past year had a career-defining run in the last year that hasn't already been on the cover. Wow. So, okay. That. Thanks, Roman. The pin system is something else. I'm going to show you the ladder match. What I mean, how they ruined it. We're going to use AJ Styles, so hopefully that works out. And who should I face? I'll let you guys decide if you want. No, normal. No. And then afterwards, we're going to just look into Universe, because there's really nothing much to look at in this game. SmackDown around this time. Oh, yeah. That's what I said. This game unfortunately suffered from... This is a perfect example of... This is why you shouldn't release stuff every year. Because if you release it, it's so out there. This game was probably like outside of 2K22, which was outside of their control. Because of WWE releasing talent. By releasing it this year, this whole game was entirely outdated. The whole presentation of SmackDown versus Raw was completely outdated by the time this game came out. It was like, well, what the hell I'm basically playing 2015 Raw and SmackDown with AJ Styles. That's essentially what you were doing. This didn't have showcase. It had the Hall of Fame showcase, so you could look for it. So if you had DLC, luckily if you bought it, you were good on that front. But otherwise, yeah, nope. And that's the thing. They wanted you to spend an extra $60. Like I said, I don't think, again, 2K, bold 2K. They really started to show their colors in this one. The idea of you selling it the same price with objectively less content. It's like, what are we doing, people? It sucks because, like, for what they did with Universe mode for at least a little bit, it's fine. But it's like by taking out Shoka, I guess. Well, again, their official their official reasoning was because of the direction that they were trying to go with. It wasn't, at least they kept WrestleMania 31. They knew this arena hit, so they kept it. So good for them. We're gonna go with WrestleMania 32 though. Actually, no. Why not go with TLC? Was the Inferno match 2K17? No, sir. Which game had the best community creations? Personally, for me, I feel like, honestly, I would say from the 2010 to the 14 days, because you want to know why? You can upload your story. So you had, that's the thing. This is why we need, honest to God, guys, let's have a serious conversation as I'm trying to figure out which arena to use. Let's have a serious conversation for a second. It was SmackDown at that time. Well, SmackDown Live. Yeah, you're right. I went off topic. I was going on a rant. Yes, the SmackDown, it was the A show. Despite, even though Raw had some good moments. Where the hell is the TLC there? even though Raw had some good moments, SmackDown was objectively the A show. The storylines, especially that Miz and Dolph Ziggler storyline, hit so much. Even though I knew Dolph Ziggler wasn't leaving, it was like his career was on the line. That was my main event for No Mercy. Like that was so good. That storyline, AJ Styles is champion. Everything was fun. Again, Dean Ambrose was my favorite Shield member, but it's just at the expense of AJ Styles, Jinder Mahal. But that's next year. We're not talking about Jinder Mahal yet. That's the following year. Is Jinder Mahal even in this game? Now that I think about it, is Jinder Mahal even? That's so crazy. If Jinder Mahal's not even in this game, we're gonna have to look at the roster. Is Jinder Mahal actually in this game? I don't think he is, which makes it even more worse. Oh my god! Out of all the eras, which was your personal favorite? Now, what are you referring to? Are you referring to brand split wise, or just in any year? Like, what was my favorite or era? If you talk about eras like Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, obviously I grew up in the I grew up at literally the end. So I was born in 1996. I didn't start watch wrestling until 1999, the earliest. So I was pretty much at the tail end of the Ruthless Aggression Era. And the era, I mean, I was at the tail end of the Attitude Era, but I would say arguably mid Attitude Era to Ruthless Aggression Era. That's what it warped my perception of wrestling, the Ruthless Aggression Era. Especially, again, the two unique shows, Raw and SmackDown, when they actually felt unique. That's why I was so glad in 2016 when they finally brought it back. Because even though I liked seeing people on different shows, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like there was no reason to watch SmackDown was basically filler from objectively from 2012 to 16 until the brand split happened. SmackDown was literally filler. Nothing. The most important, I kid you not, the most important thing that happened on that show. Are you ready? I wish I'm making this up. The most important thing that ever happened on that show from those time periods was like 2 title changes. Alberto Del Rio winning on a random SmackDown episode, and Kalisto winning the United States title. I seen Sheamus say Attitude Era was just kicks and punches. I did see something. I mean, Attitude Era is a perfect example where it's not about the wrestling, it's about the story. If you objectively look at the Attitude Era, most matches suck. They just had moments. But that's the whole point of wrestling, though. It's not really about the matches, it's about the stories that go with the matches. Because anyone could have a good match. Anyone who knows how to wrestle objectively can have a good match, regardless if you're a jobber or not. It's about what you do and what people remember you for. That's why everyone remembers the Attitude Era. Everyone remembers the rivalry between Stone Cold and The Rock, Stone Cold and Mr. McMahon. Can you tell me every moment that happened, bell to bell, from Stone Cold versus Dude Love? No, probably not. Can I tell you what happened bell to bell from Undertaker and Mankind? No. I can tell you the 2 most important things that happened when there. Mankind got thrown off the cell and he got put through the cell. But that's all that needs to be remembered. Oh wait, I missed what you said. The final boss, 1998. What's up? Hey, bro, what's up? Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Great con. Yeah, I mean, can someone remind me how many days we're in? Okay, hold on. Let me do the math. If we're on 2K17, which means we're 18 days in, because of SmackDown 2, we're technically 18 days in. Okay. By the time 2K22, we're going to be on a normal counting. I know it's weird. It's 1 day extra than what the name of the game suggests. So we're 18 days in. So, for example, Reigns Triple H storyline was great, but weak match. But that's my point. Everyone remembers. I wouldn't say that though. Ruthless Aggression, it was more match. So that's the thing. Attitude Era. I feel like I grew up in the right period. So yeah, let me preface this. I feel like I grew up in the right era because the Attitude Era shaped why I like wrestling, the stories and stuff, like Undertaker, American Badass, and all that good stuff. But they had, again, don't get me wrong. If you really think about it, when people talk about matches, there's only a few select matches people actually talk about. The TLC matches and anything that involved like Chris Benoit or Kurt Angle, because they were the wrestlers in the Attitude Era. But that was pretty much it. The Ruthless Aggression Era, you can point to many matches that people consider are great. It's not really about the storylines were just diabolical. I mean, again, SmackDown was more of the wrestling show and Raw was the storyline. So when it comes to storylines, that's where Raw was. And SmackDown was more wrestling, but both had great quality wrestling. So I feel like the Ruthless Aggression Era, it was a perfect blend of wrestling that everyone would remember. Because again, I still remember the amazing triple threat match that no one can ever talk about between. Wait, is this not a ladder match or a one-on-one match? I'm so confused. What did I just pick? It's a regular one-on-one match? God damn it. We'll do a ladder match with Charlotte and Sasha and Becky. We're gonna do a fatal 4-way ladder match with the 4 horsewomen. Why not? But yeah, it's like, but you're talking the rivalry between Randy and Triple H. Well, if you saw the Ruthless Aggression documentary that came out a couple years ago, probably like 5 years ago at this point, Randy Orton wasn't performing well, and they just put the belt right back on Triple H. Unless you're referring to later, like unless you're not talking about the Ruthless Aggression part, you're talking about later when he's 09 unhinged Randy versus Triple H. I thought their WrestleMania match was good. Oh, later 2009. I thought their WrestleMania match. I feel so bad for Triple H, honest to God. Triple H is like worst WrestleManias ever. Not because their matches was bad, because he had to follow WrestleMania 18. Him and Jericho's match is objectively a very good match. No one cared because of The Rock and Hogan. Same thing with Triple H and Randy Orton. It was objectively good. It probably had like the best story going into WrestleMania. The whole like Randy Orton's unhinged. He kicked Vince McMahon. He literally RKO'd and kissed Stephanie. Like that was the heat that was needed for them. That was a main event level storyline. No one cared because the masterpiece of a performance that Undertaker and Shawn Michaels put on. Even though I still prefer the WrestleMania 26 match. It should have been Hell in a Cell, no holds barred. I know they try to rectify that at the following pay-per-view, kind of, for 6-man tag. It was just no, but I understood what they were trying to go for. Like I understood, like on paper, I understood the storyline. Triple H cannot, if he does whatever, he loses the title via disqualification or whatever. I know why they did that. They handicapped Triple H so he can overcome the odds, but it's like you just couldn't follow Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. It was like that's Triple H just got screwed. He got screwed both times. That is so. I feel so bad. JBL's hat. Yes, this is when JBL was still on commentary. I think he showed up in 2K16. I also believe this is his last game on commentary, now that I think about it. This is actually, I think, his last game on commentary. Oh, what's up, Red? Appreciate you stopping by. Should have been, 2K16 was last I played Pro, so all this is kind of new for me. I never touched in my career in this game. Again, I bought every game every year except for 2K20. First time I waited. I was like, I'm actually not buying this crap. But I gave it a chance. Nice elbow by Ambrose. But again, if you already have this is the whole point of 2K17. Why it's the issue. If you already have 2K16, there is absolutely zero reason to play this game unless you think AJ Styles and the 4 horsewomen are worth $60. When I say properly, I mean 50 hours. Plus, none of the newer wrestling games must crack 20 hours. They just lose the fun because, again, this is if you're wondering the early signs of Yuke's leaving, it was this game. You can pinpoint it right here where Yuke started to feel frustrated. For the first time in 15 years, they didn't have any unique selling point, any value proposition. This game is identical to 2K16 outside of the roster. If I were to tell you this game was 2K16, you probably would believe me. It looks no different. Yes, Dean Ambrose has a black shirt instead of a white one, but outside of that, there is no difference. And that's the biggest problem. If I can't tell the difference between the current game and the one that came out last year, that's a problem. In terms of hours, it's not that I put the least amount of hours of this in here. Wait, who the hell is that? Why is Roman coming out here? What the hell? We don't say John Moxley around here. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of salty when Ambrose left. I mean, it is what it is, but Ambrose was my favorite Shield member. Like, he was the guy. You have no idea how happy when he won the Money in the Bank. I thought, all right, give it a couple months, he's going to cash in. No, the same night, he became champion. I was so proud. I waited, like, that was my moment. I waited years for Dean Ambrose to finally have his moment. And then, like, 3 months later, he lost the title to AJ Styles, which is, if anyone to lose the title to, that's okay. That's okay. I bought the most of the wrestling games I skipped recently for cheap. That's basically what I did. I mean, I didn't skip them, but I just rebought them for cheap nowadays. My issue, again, I wish I could just buy the PC versions, but If you have a good running PC, you can actually play 2K15 to 20 for free on PC if you know where you're looking. I don't think I'm legally allowed to say, but if you just look, just type in his Hell in a Cell against Bray Wyatt was underrated. It was. Wait, was it him? Yeah, it was Bray. Was it him and Bray? Yes, it was. It was him and Bray, right? No, it was him and Seth. No, it was him and Seth, and then Bray showed up at the end in Hell in a Cell. Unless you're talking about Bray and Roman. I think you meant Bray and Roman. They had a good Hell in a Cell. Again, the match quality for the PG era, especially during around this time. Yeah, no. I knew what you meant. I knew you didn't mean Seth and Bray, unfortunately. Even though I love The Fiend to death. I knew you did not mean Seth and Bray. It was Seth and Dean, which was a good, and it main evented the show too. It goes to show you how much. What the hell is his goddamn? What the hell is his? Oh, they don't show the There you go, special moves. Would it not be the calf crusher? That's what I'm doing, but he has to stand up. Whatever. Can I just put it in this way? Oh, it's a stupid submission system again. This is, and he already broke out of it. Unless he had resiliency. Okay, I know. Oh, come on. Too bad Brock didn't want to do much work. It was 7D for WrestleMania. Yeah, you're talking about I was looking forward to that WrestleMania match. Even though I was looking more forward to Undertaker and Shane at 32 because of how ridiculous it was to begin with. But that's what happens when John Cena's injured. It was ridiculous to begin with, but I still had no issue with it. Yeah, Brock didn't want to do much, but it is what it is. What could have been. I wish Dean would come back. I feel like, I mean, I don't watch AEW, my brother does, but he's been like a multiple-time world champion there. What else can you possibly do over that WrestleMania was cursed? It was like, I mean, it goes to show though, say what you want about Vince, he had basically John Cena was not there. Randy Orton, correction, John Cena was there, but he didn't wrestle. Randy Orton wasn't there. All of his basically mainstays were not there, but he made that show work for 100,000 people in that building because the triple threat match for the women stole the show. You had that opener in the ladder match. Great. I think Undertaker and Shane McMahon exceeded everyone's expectations. I think that's safe to say. Like, again, it was like and AJ Styles and Chris Jericho was fine. I know people question why Chris Jericho won, but the next day it was quite obvious why he won because they knew they were going to strap the rocket on AJ Styles the very next day. So there was no need for him to win at WrestleMania. So it didn't make sense literally within that 24-hour window, but it made perfect sense the next day. So overall, though, outside of the conclusion of the match, I thought Jericho and Styles was great. And then you had the Triple H and Roman. Man, Triple H cannot catch a break. Should have happened. If it was going to happen, it was going to happen at 32, but Seth got injured. That's the problem. They had to, it was quite obvious they were probably going that route anyway. The reason why I know it's supposed to happen, because they did it at a random, well, not necessarily random, Battleground. They did it there because they knew once this brand split stuff happened, they were never going to be able to do it, at least storyline wise, anytime soon. So that's why the second Seth got healed, they did the title change at Money in the Bank to justify a triple threat. It was quite clear. From what I understand, the original plan for WrestleMania was the following. It was supposed to be, if also had Sting not been injured, it was probably gonna be looking at the Shield triple threat. I don't know what John Cena was gonna do, and Triple H was gonna either the Shield triple threat was gonna happen, or I don't know what Triple H was gonna do. What pay-per-view? It was a Roadblock, and I was also good. That match was so good. It made you, again, Triple H is so good. He really made you think Dean Ambrose was gonna win, and look like he won. It's not saying like Dean Ambrose was bad. It's just like the way that match was. You literally thought Dean Ambrose was gonna win, and he technically did. But it was the goddamn rope. It was the goddamn rope. Seth, my favorite from the Shield. I mean, Seth's good. Again, don't get me wrong. Seth is good. I just was always more of a fan of Dean Ambrose. Did I not hit the right trigger? What is going on? I'm gonna lose. Oh, wait. I was able to kick out. The pin system sucks. I do like, I mean, the one thing I will give them credit for, the new pin system, I have no issue with. What is with this? How does he keep getting out of this? God, you can't submit no one in this game. What's your favorite Dave versus Goliath match? That is a good question, isn't it? Does AJ versus Brock count? I know they're technically the same height, but AJ is clearly smaller than Brock. I thought AJ and Brock, I mean, like, again, AJ's not small by any means, but like compared to Brock, I thought that was a good match. But in terms of actual Dave versus Goliath, I mean, that's pretty much going to involve Rey Mysterio. Mine's did. That's what I'm about to say. Like, if AJ and Brock counts, then I would say that. Big Show versus Rey Mysterio. You talk about the Backlash one where people thought Big Show literally killed Rey Mysterio by whacking him with the How is Dean kicking out? Okay, this, I can see why this is about to be a 5-star match. How the hell is Dean kicking out? What do I have to do to this guy? There's no way Dean kicked out of that. Again, that's what I said. It's like, I don't want to give 2K17 a bad rap. They had the gameplay, but it's just like, this is what my issue is. You got to do something though to convince me to get $60. This could have been a patch update. You could have patched in AJ Styles in a 4 Horsewomen, considering it was running on the same goddamn engine. So he might. This is on normal difficulty, by the way. This is actually on normal difficulty. Calibrate. Oh, I was about. You know what? Thank you. I feel bad because NXT UK was so good. As well as 205 Live. Yes, Tyler Bate versus Walter is the most modern day. Yes, Dave versus Goliath. What was it? Takeover Cardiff? My God, that match was incredible. I miss NXT UK so much. If you talk about for pure wrestling, again, this is this is what I mean where wrestling fans, y'all can never say WWE did not care about wrestling. You watch NXT, but of course I was, again, I'm always for the little guys. ECW, I was always a fan of ECW over Raw Spec because it was a different presentation. My favorite show, I know it's gonna sound crazy, was 205 Live. I'm like the biggest 205 Live mark of all time. I was so sad when it ended. I was there from the very beginning, that Cruiserweight Classic, when it started, I knew it was something special. I literally tuned in every week. Even though I was working like 10-hour shifts, I made sure I was home to watch 205 Live and that Cruiserweight Classic. It was absolute. The Cruiserweight Classic, I think, was the last good modern tournament that WWE had. Yes, I know they had the King of Rings, but those suck compared to that Cruiserweight Classic. My God, so good, so good. But yeah, no, Tyler Bate versus Walter definitely counts, and Razor Ramon versus the 1-2-3 Kid. I mean, well, yeah, but I wasn't. I think I just turned. I think I was just born that year. Mike Awesome versus, you watched Tough Enough Live. I watched so I didn't watch the 2011 version, but I definitely watched the 2015 version live. Woo, that was a time. Such good stuff. I wish they would bring this LFG stuff. Is so stupid. The reason why the LFG stuff is so stupid, I mean, I understand the concept, but these people are already signed to WWE. At least Tough Enough, as far as we knew, none of those people were signed to WWE. So you were literally watching people rip Sarah. Yeah, she did. That was actually Blake's wife, I believe, not Murphy. The Legends Future is great. I just can't get into it. If it's good, I mean, I'm not gonna say like I just can't. I tried to first. I just can't get into it because I know. Again, I know Tough Enough's kind of scripted too. I understand that, but at least none of those people are signed. They're like regular people. All those people that are being showcased, like Kendall. Like I think I saw a clip with Kendall Gray. They showed Kendall Gray. It's like I literally saw her on NXT. Why is she on LFG? I get it was like her journey. Like they done all she can and evolve and whatnot. But it's like I already saw her. But yeah, I'm always for like B So like 205 Live, that was my wrestling fix. And as I said, I was getting off topic for a minute. No one can ever say WWE never gave in-ring work over storylines more chances than Vince. He gave you 205 Live. He funded that crap. I don't even know what I'm doing. Am I blue? I don't know if I'm blue or red. Am I blue or red? Whatever. I hate the submission system in this goddamn game. I love the flags from where they were from, being behind the wrestlers. Show how universal the roster was, if that makes sense. No, you're talking about the 205, yeah. When it was 205, well, not 205, the Cruiserweight Classics. They were showing it was from all over the world. It was such a good tournament. It had no storyline, nothing. It was like the best hour on the network. Or unless you're talking about the NXT UK as well. They adapted that from the Cruiserweight Class tournament. I know what you're talking about, NXT UK specifically. I like the Speed Championship. It's sad that people that were contested had better careers than the people that did. I always found that hilarious, right? Because who actually won that was actually successful? The Miz, like Miz didn't win, right? Miz didn't win. Did he win that year's Tough Enough? I don't think he did. But it's like always the people who never win. It's so, because I mean, I think someone said he was like, because we have a ideal. Because I think it was the 2015 one. It's like they were eyeing Mandy, not necessarily Sonya, but they were 100% eyeing Mandy and the Velveteen Dream as the people that they wanted to win. But that obviously didn't happen, so they signed them anyway because they wanted to make it legit. It was the same thing with Taboo Tuesday. It was Daniel Puder. Oh yeah, and then that's when Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, and Hart Crowley beat the crap out of him at the Royal Rumble. But again, it goes to show the Miz. They knew Miz had the character, so it worked out. Yeah, let's do the Fatal 4-Way since now they're finally in the game. The Fatal 4-Way TLC. Let's go crazy because this is the last game that had the physics. Let's do the women. Yeah, I'm not sexist. I don't think I even played a women's match yet. During this whole entire, yes, I'm using Becky. I'm always a fan of Becky. Yeah, I'm a fan of Carmella. Hey, I miss Carmella. Who's your favorite women's wrestler? Anyone's favorite women's wrestler currently on the roster that's still employed? Or even, I guess at this time too, yes, Eva Marie was still in the game. But this will be her last game until, was she in 2K22? I don't remember. Was she in 2K22? I genuinely do not remember. Sorry, you might have moved on from David Goliath, but I had to mention Undertaker versus Jeff Hardy. Oh, you're talking about the ladder match 2002? Yes. When Undertaker finally turned face again, and then that was basically what made a lot of people say that made Jeff Hardy. But then he left less than a year later. Like, come on, Jeff. And Brock Lesnar versus Eddie at No Way Out. You're right. You're right. I mean, there's so many to choose from. I mean, that's why I'm glad you guys are here to name the ones that I forget. Brock Lesnar versus Eddie when he won the title. Thanks to Goldberg, but yes, he won the title. Charlotte, Ryback was on there too. Oh yeah, this is he was, and then he was. I mean, goes to show like he had the look. They kept him in FCW. Then he finally did NXT, and then what next is Stephanie Vaquer. I can never pronounce her last name. I'm just gonna call her Stephanie. I used to call her Stephanie Vaquer because I thought that was how it was. It's Vaquer, Stephanie Vaquer or something. I can't pronounce it. I just call her Stephanie because I think people know that I'm not talking about Stephanie McMahon. Oh God, Emma. Emma was such a missed opportunity, especially her heel gimmick. It's just it's just NXT people just do not translate well on the main roster if their only gimmick is wrestling, unfortunately. I know Emma had a good gimmick, but I think Vince had it with people outside of Becky who had an accent or something. I just don't know. Emma was good. Emma was very good, so I just don't understand why. I should probably looking for you, Bailey. I'm doing the alphabetical order, so what the Bailey. You know, you would think with the women's roster, because this is not intergender wrestling, they would at least. I sort it. I guess I could have sorted it. No, I hit the random. Jesus Christ. You know what? 1 second. Boom. There you go. Problem solved. No, I could. God damn it. I knew this was here. And Bailey's right there. Perfect. There we go. Bro, Jeff fumbled the bag a few times, but he still. I mean, you could never say Vince did not like. He like you could clearly tell he liked Jeff more than Matt, kind of because he can make more money off of Jeff than Matt. How many times did Vince give Jeff Hardy chance? He gave him both the WWE title and World Heavyweight title after all of those suspensions, because he knew again. He will, despite even if he don't like you, like he didn't like CM Punk or the position of Daniel Bryan, if the crowd is reacting, even Zack Ryder, if the crowd is actually reacting to you, he will give you as much of a chance as possible. I don't think there's been any superstar more than Jeff Hardy that had chance, maybe Randy Orton to a point, that had chance after chance after chance. Why not take over London? Sure, whatever. I remember the Jeff Hardy versus Shane storyline. I feel like it ended too abruptly for me. They had a lot more to it. When he threw the piss at Sheamus's face, yeah. I guess these people should have been in 2K16, but they knew they had nothing to sell for this game, so that's why they held them off. I mean, good for you guys, 2K. So after this match, we're probably gonna look at either My Career or Universe Mode next. And then we're going to take a quick detour to look at the soundtrack. Because there's not much to this game, guys. I'm sorry. There's not much to this game. Again, this in 2K18, outside of the graphic update from 2K18, there's nothing much to them. Charlotte Flair is a classic. I mean, for her first appearance in the video game, she looked fine for her first one. A lot of people did look bad though. Dana Brooke is like the perfect example. Is like, what in the hell is that? They did not face scan her at all. I don't know what the hell that was. Like Charlotte Flair for her first time, it looks kind of accurate. I guess I could have put I forgot Charlotte had the title. And then, yes, Sasha. I forgot she had pink hair, then she had red hair, and then she had blue hair to end it. Yep. That's why they would never promote that soundtrack. They can never talk about that soundtrack. P. Diddy, yeah. They can never really talk about that soundtrack ever again. They were hyping it up too. Yep, soundtrack by P. Diddy, and then it's like, oh, well, we can never talk about that again. We're gonna look at the soundtrack that P. Diddy curated. I think I was gonna do it after this. Mount Rushmore women. For me, it's Lita, Trish, Victoria, Jacqueline for present, Charlotte, Becky, Rhea, Bayley. For new generation, it will be mine, I'll say. I mean, back in the day, I was always a fan of Lita and Molly Holly and Molly Holly. I can't speak. She was so underrated. Like, I feel like she was probably the best woman there, wrestling wise, outside of like Lita and Trish, of course. But I feel like Molly Holly, they had some, like, she was so good. I know she didn't have like the look that they of the other women, but she was so good as a wrestler. And for current women, it's always so. The top three was always Becky Lynch for me, Bianca Belair, and Carmella. But now they got rid of Carmella. It's just Becky and Bianca. If I had to pick a third currently on the roster, I mean, it's not, I don't have an issue with Charlotte. It's just, I just prefer Becky more so than Charlotte. Right now, currently on the roster, I'm actually a huge fan of Roxanne. I think Roxanne is great. I am curious where the storyline is going with her in the Judgment Day alongside Finn. I think Roxanne's great. I like Julia, Stephanie as well, but who's the most overrated? That's a good question. Overrated. And I see you said Diva. You said Diva. Huh. A part of me wants to say AJ because I know that's going to sound crazy to say, but I feel like, yes, I know if it wasn't for AJ, the women's evolution when that started. The only reason why I say AJ because I just feel like people tend to forget there was a women's division before AJ Lee. I think it's not necessarily AJ, it's just the idea that people forget that there was actually good wrestling for the women on the Ruthless Aggression era. During like Trish, Lita, Victoria, like those women. So it's AJ only because like this, because of her fan base, they make it seem like there was no such thing as women's wrestling before AJ Lee and Caitlyn showed up. That's basically my only issue. I would have to say AJ. It's not anything personal other than just because this idea that women's wrestling did not exist before AJ Lee is where my issue with it is. But in terms of overrated for divas, that's it. What about you? You said Victoria's my favorite wrestler. Yeah, like, again, Victoria and Molly Holly, I feel like don't get a lot more. They don't get a lot of credit. I wish Molly Holly was back in the game. I mean, she was in briefly for 2K22. Is she still in the current games? I know she was in 2K23, and I believe 24. AJ Lee's good. Shout out for the reason courageous. But that's why I said it's like I don't inherently have an issue with. I love how they just brought this system back. Oh no, I mean this is where it started, the whole circle thing. And it took forever for them to give us a new system. Damn, so they haven't updated the lab. So hold on, let me get this straight. It wasn't until 2K25 where they finally updated the lab. This is what I'm talking about. Remember us, it was great back in the day when they allowed the show. That's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, because think about it. Mickey James, like, are people forgetting Mickey James, Beth Phoenix? I mean, I'm not saying Candice Michelle was the best wrestler in the world, but even Candice Michelle to a certain extent. Like, come on. There's so many great women that are, and I hate, it's going to sound like a hot take, that are way more over than the current roster in terms of crowd reaction, that were there. They did less for what they had. I mean, I like Sasha with the hype. Oh, you know, Sasha, so, I mean, I thought you meant currently. Oh, that was well, to be fair, he didn't, Kwame didn't say diva. And now, if you talk about women, oh, yes, 100% Sasha. It's not that 100% Sasha. She was more looks than wrestling. You talk Candice Michelle. I mean, I like Candice Michelle. I mean, even she said so herself. She was on SmackDown briefly, and they had to take her off because she was just too hot for SmackDown. And that's legit. That was a legitimate thing. I mean, I like Candice Michelle. She had a good look to her. I'm not even gonna deny saying that. Her and Melina, I think they were like the best looking women for the time during that era. I don't know who got them in the company, but yeah, it was too good, man. She knew how to work. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, she was good. Like, I don't know how they got her in the company, but like, props to Vince. I didn't know she was in that dodgeball movie. She was? I had no idea. I just knew like because she got drafted to SmackDown. She was there for 1 week, and then they took her off, and I was always wondering why. And then she revealed, like, in one of those interviews, like, because she was just too hot. I mean, if TV executives are saying that, then it's like, yeah, all right. Yeah, I think Vince hit the gold mine with Candice, but then unfortunately, she left right after that. But yeah, like, there's so many good women. Melina, like, again, I know people don't give a lot of props. Alicia Fox was good when they actually let her wrestle back in the day. Alicia Fox, Gail Kim, like, people are getting all these women wrestlers. Just like the idea that women's wrestling didn't exist before AJ Lee and Caitlyn. It's so ridiculous to me. I don't remember her being on. Yeah, she was on SmackDown for 1 week, and I distinctly remember exactly what it was. I think she was talking to Jeff Hardy in a backstage segment. That was it. Now I know I'm dead serious. Look it up. Candice Michelle SmackDown. It's a backstage. I distinctly remember it too. It was her and Jeff Hardy backstage. She was talking about something with Jeff Hardy backstage, and that was it. I shit you not. That was her only appearance. You remember Shelly? Yes, it was with Deuce and Domino. I like that team. You see, again, they need to bring those. I know this is completely random. I know there's like no correlation, but with the New Day leaving, I feel like we need to go. They need to go back into character tag teams, and I feel like the best example, if you know who Hank and Tank is on NXT, I think they need to get called up like today. I know Raw is on right now, so who knows? I feel like they need to go back to that, because that's what sold tag teams. Because let's be real. Tag teams are never going to be in the main event picture. Shelly Martinez, you're talking about, Cherry. Deuce and Domino was cool. Oh, I thought you meant Shelly. Who the hell is Shelly? I went on a completely different rant. I thought when you said Shelly, I thought Sherry. Who the hell is Shelly? Shelly Martinez. This might be bad. Who the hell is Shelly? Shelly Martinez. No, that's not ringing a bell. I'm not gonna lie. That's not ringing a bell. I thought you meant Sherry. I was like, oh yeah, I remember Sherry. Oh, that was her name? See, you should have said that then. Because that wasn't her. I mean, that wasn't her name. It was Kevin Thorne, and I forgot what was her. God damn, what was her name that they gave her on an ECW? Now, of course, I remember Kevin Thorne in them, the vampire. Forgot her name though. I can't remember her in ring. Oh no, I thought that's who Kwame meant, but I forgot. Daphne, was it Tiffany or Daphne? Her name might have been Daphne. Kevin Thorne and Daphne, I think either Daphne or Tiffany. Who the hell is Shelly Martinez? I've never heard of her. She must have been like some one random person that's why I didn't say the name. Wait, who was it? Who's Shelly? Was that her name? Kevin Thorne and Tiffany? I mean, was that the woman with Kevin Thorne? I legit don't know who Shelly Martinez is. I thought you literally meant Sherry. Here I'm going on a whole rant. But I mean, on that rant, back on topic, I do believe they need to call up Hank and Tank because we need to go. I think the best course of action for the tag team wrestling, because obviously they don't care. Again, I hate to say it. They don't care about. I love how. Why is Charlotte just standing? Is she going to purposely wait until there's no way she's going to purposely wait. No way. Did she glitch? No way. She just waited. I guess she just wanted me to win. Shelly Martinez is her real name. I don't know her WWE. I gotta look her up then. Who the hell is Shelly? There's no way she just let me win. I mean, thanks, Charlotte. Shit, you can't say Charlotte ever puts people over. So you were talking about her. What was that? That was her then. My bad. You were talking. Oh, her name was Ariel. No. Yeah, no, her name was Ariel. Is Shelly Martinez, which is the Kevin Thorne woman. You were absolutely right. My bad. So it's like, who the hell is... Her name was Ariel. Okay. Obviously, I remember her with Kevin Thorne, but it's like... And this animation, I want you to keep in mind, this animation we just saw with Becky, correct me if I'm wrong, this ladder animation, when you win the Money in the Bank for a title, it's still in the game. They have not updated the ladder animation since 2K17. So it's been what? Almost a decade. But they want to focus on My Faction and freaking Island. Incredible. They can't even update a freaking ladder animation. But yeah, briefly back on my rant, because I think I was going somewhere with this. I thought EA was bad for that shit. Like, they don't update you so like seven, almost 9 years now. Because 2K60, yeah, almost damn near a decade. Because, I mean, it's not November yet. Almost an entire decade, this animation has been in the game. They is not updated. It's like, what are we doing here, people? No updates. Like, this is just proof. Like, keep in mind, we're about to get worse. We're about to see the universe mode cutscenes and whatnot. They've not updated any of them. They've not updated anything. And then, like, dude, they understand why they complain. Their logic makes no sense. Well, we need to make new animations, so fucking make them. How about you stop focusing on... I know, my apologies for cursing. I'm getting heated now that I think about it. I care too much about this series. I've been playing it forever. My whole life. I've essentially been playing it for my entire existence of life. As far as I can remember, and they're just ruining it. Their priorities are so that I'm glad that you left. We get the same cutscene in the game for years, literal BS. It's like, and then they wonder why the community's upset. It's like, no, we're not upset about My Faction because you're listening to the vocal minority. No one who actually plays. You cannot tell me Timmy, who goes to the store and buys this game, first thing he does is go in My Faction. No, he does not. He just wants to play the goddamn wrestling game. But when you lock some of his favorite superstars' tire parts in My Faction, that's where the frustration comes. So quick detour before we get to Universe or My Career. We're gonna look at the soundtrack. Now that you brought it up, you pointed. Where was it? Who pointed it out? Where is it? Oh, Ride from 21 Pilots right here. Um, to go back on Tough Enough though, I think ZZ was gonna win that whole thing. Oh, you're talking about that year? Yeah, ZZ, because he was a fan for. I mean, he should have. I think he was briefly in NXT, but then they just didn't put him. They just didn't put him on TV. ZZ was cool. He was like that alligator guy, right? I know. I think I know exactly who you're talking about. He was that alligator guy. Does 2K17 have a showcase? They have a Hall of Fame showcase. So if you I mean, I could play one of the matches, sure. I guess we look up one of the matches, but essentially there is no historical Brock Lesnar showcase, in case you're wondering. Two teams, one for the My Faction shit, and one for the OG fans. That how can it be that hard? Just make two different games. Like just I don't I don't have an issue with My Faction if it was in a different game. I would genuinely probably be more interested in My Faction if it was in a completely different game. It makes no sense to me. But yes, the soundtrack. I mean, again, it's fine. Yes, Puff Daddy Combs, aka Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, made it. So now it's like they really can't talk about this soundtrack anymore. So there's that. Personally, one of my favorite songs, Andy Black, We Don't Have to Dance, I know was part of Payback that same year, but I really liked it because for those you don't know, Andy Black was, I don't think he's still part of it. Black Veil Bride's one of my favorite bands. But the fact that he's on here, so that's cool. Black Sabbath, you can never go wrong with them. Bring Me the Horizon, glad they're in here. And my other favorite song, it's Yellow Claw, We Made It. Well, I'm gonna have to listen to 21 Pilots Ride. I'm gonna have to listen to this. Who pointed it out? You ever play 2K Battlegrounds? I mean, nope, I never did. I think it might still be on Steam PC. I don't know, but I'll probably find it for cheap, and maybe one day I might play it on stream. One day I might be able to. I'll play. Is it good? Have you played 2K Battlegrounds, Kwame? Again, I feel like it's a soulless Carbon like trying to imitate, but they understand the purpose of All Stars. It's like a soulless version of that. With microtransaction, that's where the first hint of microtransaction we should have known by 2K22 was starting. But yeah, I think this. I mean, again, I feel like the best soundtrack. Ironically, we're slowly getting there. Overall, in the 2K series was 2K20, which is so crazy considering how the reception of that game is. I feel like it has the best soundtrack of the entire first half of the 2K series up until 20. I think it has the best one, but there's some good hits in here. Like I said, you can never go wrong with having Bring Me the Horizon and Black Sabbath in the game, so you can never go wrong with that. What was everyone's favorite soundtrack? I mean, favorite song in here? Two different games would be Ideal World. What's the biggest wrestler or mission you could think of that got left out of wrestling game on purpose? Well, it was the Four Horsemen. I mean, we're talking about right here the Four Horsemen with 2K17. Well, see, the thing is, unless someone gets released, they tend to put them in the game unless someone really screwed up, i.e. Hulk Hogan. I.e. Hulk Hogan is like a perfect example. He's obviously the biggest omission. But again, it's not really. I never cared. It's about cancel culture. It is what it is. So outside of him, in recent memory, I think I'm really trying to think. Cause they pretty much, I guess, in a technical sense, because they purposely took in 2K22 with the whole roster released and whatnot. Because some people were kept and some people weren't kept. There was 3 people that it's like they went out of their way to take out. One of those people greatly affected the story mode. So we'll get to 2K22, but there was 3 people: Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole, and Bray Wyatt. They was like, goddamn, here comes the pain. Well, that's because he got released. I mean, like, well, yeah, I guess that would be the other recent example. I'm talking about like person like they kept other like, yeah, I guess Jeff Hardy would be the best one. What's a nostalgic wrong? Oh my god, do we really? I wish we could play. If I couldn't get copyrighted, I would play the soundtracks. I wonder if I could do it on members only streams. Would that affect it if I could do it on members only? But I don't know. So good, man. Jeff Hardy, Here Comes the Pain. I mean, yeah, that is true. And him, Warrior, and Hogan were basically supposed to be in the game. Warrior is he was on the August preview build, like 2 months before the release of the game. It's like they just take him. I don't know, but yeah. In terms of recent memory, I think Bray, Daniel, and Adam Cole are perfect examples. But nostalgic Raw SmackDown song. Oh my god. Obviously, what is it? The Underground. What the hell is it called? You know, the Ruthless Aggression song. You can never go wrong with that one. But recently, I actually was a huge fan of Enemies, the 2016 song, especially not just those songs, their insert songs as well, like Stories of Greatness. Like CFO was killing it. For those who don't know, CFO was the group before Def Rebel, like in between Jim Johnson and Def Rebel. It was CFO. They killed it with those insert songs, like Stories of Greatness. I listened to all the time, especially SmackDown 2. What was it? Unstoppable on SmackDown side. I prefer the insert song more than the actual SmackDown song that they used. I mean, more the bumper songs, I guess, is the best way of calling it. I prefer those songs more so than the actual original song for SmackDown 2016. I also like 205 Live soundtrack. Again, I was a huge 205 Live fan. I watched it every week. There are wrestling fans who like pure wrestling, and literally that was the purest as wrestling you can get. If you wanted hardcore wrestling, that was 205 Live NXT, but no one watched it. And they wonder why WWE is in the current position. And they do this because they give you a chance to watch it, but you don't. The same people who argue they want 20-minute matches don't watch 20-minute matches when they're actually airing. So it's like, it's so crazy. That Girl 2006 intro is all I need, because especially, yeah, they I guess I don't know what was the determine which intro played, whether it was Raw or SmackDown, but no, SmackDown's what is it called? The Ruthless Aggression one, not the 2003 one. After 2003, I won it all as 2003. What the hell is it called? Breaking down a new show, like you know the song I'm talking about with SmackDown. I wish I could play it right now, but unfortunately we get content ID. Damn, it sucks. Anywho, we're gonna look at universe mode real quick. Despite me saying there's a difference between having a selling point and having some quality of life updates. And you can see I gave it a chance. Well, I didn't give Raw a chance. I gave NXT a chance when I was playing. I went all the way to August, and then I stopped. Keep in mind, this save file is from 2016. So we're just gonna play a new one real quick. We're just gonna do a new one. And yes, I had Eric Young. I downloaded an Eric Young. So, as first of all, so they updated the presentation of Universe Mode for starters. On the updated presentation, again, it's Universe Mode. Unfortunately, it suffered because the brand split already happened by the time the game came out, so everything was literally outdated, including the titles. So SmackDown Raw didn't have the Universal title for one. So you had to create it. So essentially, if you're trying to play this game with the Universal title, unless you already download from Community Creations or you're just good at creating titles, you're shit out of luck, unfortunately. Excuse my language, but that's pretty much what it is. But yeah, so they had this new presentation style, which I liked. And yes, the promo, which you're going to look here instead of my career, I don't know when that starts. I never played my career before. So yeah, this is where the promos happened. And then you have Sasha versus Charlotte, Roman versus Axel. That's interesting. Big Cass and Enzo versus the New Day, none of these people are in the company anymore. Funny how that works. Fatal 4-Way, Triple Threat, and then Rusev, Cesaro, Brock Lesnar, Triple H. Yeah, on a random Raw in East Lansing. Was it Missouri? I guess Miami. I don't know. So they updated presentation a little, and again, the rivalry system. What's the best my career? Oh, it's 2K19, hands down. Hands down, it's 2K19. I can't wait till we get into it because they understood the sandbox aspect. They tried to make my career an open world sandbox, but like that's what Universe Mode is for. So I think Yuke's in their final run, they was like, we're gonna end on a high note, which they did with 2K19. We're gonna give them we're gonna end on a high note and give them a linear story. That's all we wanted. Best gameplay too. Yeah, that's what I said. Yuke's knew. At least they didn't phone it in. Unlike now, at least they didn't phone it in. They knew. Okay, screw. We're gonna end on a high note. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Championships, as I said, only the women's title was updated. Again, Dean Ambrose is on both Raw and SmackDown because the Universal title doesn't exist, and the tag team titles are completely outdated. Well, they're only outdated for like a month. I mean, they were up to date until they weren't, because a month later, in December, they changed them to the Raw Tag Team titles to yellow. They're already called the Raw Tag Team titles. I say yellow, and then they got turned red. So there's that problem, and then just the presentation. Yes, this was still back in the day where you can be ranked for more than one championship, no matter what. And then simple stuff like this. So we're just gonna look at mainly the and just quickly look at the calendar. Yes, Raw, main event, NXT, SmackDown, all that good stuff. And the pay-per-views at the end of the month, you can't see because my webcam's in the way. And then pretty much nothing really to show here outside the championships, the shows, all that good stuff. Settings, yes, automatic rivalries. Again, universe. It's funny because they said their priorities was universe mode and my career, but it's like, what really changed outside this visual presentation? And the only reason why the promos are in universe mode because you put them in freaking my career. Like, what are we doing here? I was completely zoned out of the product of wrestling games during that time, so I missed it. I have it now, but never played it yet. Are you talking about 2K19? That's if any 2K game. Okay, so the 2K games to play during this era. 2K15 just for if anything to showcase. 2K16 for Austin's showcase and the gameplay. And 2K19. You can just completely skip 17 and 18. I mean, yeah, right now, even though I'm playing these games, you can just completely skip 2K17 and 18. There's, what do you think about the current titles looking? You're talking about in real life? I mean, I know I was always a fan of how the updated WWE title was when it got introduced in 2000. I thought the other one was hideous. When they updated the logo with the title, it looked like it actually looked like a title, like on UFC. I know that sounds a crazy comparison, but the UFC titles look like titles that you want to fight for, even though it was the big logo and whatever. But I wasn't a fan of at first with Universal title looking at a carbon copy, but I understood the concept. It being red, and then I like the whole red and blue thing depending on the brand we made it universal. I like that unique aspect, and then they killed it. The World Heavyweight title I think is obviously the best looking title that they have currently in terms of men's title. Mount Rushmore of 2K games. Okay, we'll get into the promo thing first, but Mount Rushmore of 2K games. Are they about to show an intro? Oh my god, they're about to show the intro. I cannot. No sir, no sir. I guess I could skip it. Let me see. Yes, we still used to have intro. Yes, we used to. Oh yeah, I actually like this intro. 2015's Raw, cool stuff. Mount Rushmore 2K games, as I said, obviously on top of the list. Well, you're gonna have to split the 2K series in half. I call it the old 2K and then Neo 2K or new 2K. I have my own terminology of that. In terms of the old 2K, Mount Rushmore, 2K19, 2K15. I know that sounds great for a lot of people. 2K16 and 2K14. I mean, again, I don't objectively have an issue with 2K20, but it's like 2K. If I had to pick my issue with 2K20, outside of the women's showcase, there's no reason to really play. I'm definitely not playing it for my career. I can tell you that much. So that's why I don't add 2K20. I know, like, that's why I just rather 2K14, even though it's a THQ game, but still. So 2K14, 2K19, 2K15, and 2K16. 17, 18, like right here, this is garbage. There's no reason for us to be playing this. So we're just going to look at the promo engine that they decided to do. For the Neo 2K games currently, I have 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 games, so we're going to have to exclude one. Again, we're going to get to 2K25 is my same reaction to 2K26 currently, even though 2K26 still getting patches and DLC. The gameplay is the best it's going to get. It's great. There's nothing wrong with the gameplay. But then what else am I supposed to do? They expect me to play My Faction Island? I'm not doing that bullshit. I'm not doing that bullshit. So I just don't know what they expect me to do here. But yes, this was the first game that had the promo engine. Oh, what's up, TB2K? Been catching up with the previous streams. Ruthless Aggression Era had the best titles ever. Oh yeah, design-wise, I mean, sure, because they were all unique. That's the point. I know everything is now company branded, but I generally like the World Heavyweight title design. And I was always a fan of the original United States title. I still think to this day, the United States title, there's something about how it looked. And they kept it for so long. I think the longevity of it sold it to me. So yes, for promos, essentially you picked a certain prompt and then they just talked. It never made any sense. Again, it sounds good on paper, but the execution is completely off. Now imagine Could you imagine? Now I know they have it in the current day where they basically just said screw it, we're not putting any text, which is whatever. But could you imagine if they would have put even 10% of focus on promos that they do at My Faction The Island? It's so crazy because The Island has freaking voice. I can't. The more I think about it, it just pisses me off even more. Oh my god. They have voices for The Island for a mode that in 2 years is going to be defunct because you can't play it online, but they have voice acting for it. I hate it. I hate it. What 2K game had the best roster? Oh wait, hold on. 2K17, you said 2K17 had one of the best rosters. The issue is, I mean, again, this game is not bad. So my opinion on this game is not bad. Let's just skip all of this, and you have the promo. I'm adapt. I don't know what to have. The universe is fine from tonight. I gotta say what I gotta say. Sure, whatever. It doesn't fit the issue with the promo system. It doesn't fit the character at all. I know she's supposed to be a face, but it is what it is. The issue with 2K, the roster is not bad. Again, you can't go wrong with AJ Styles and finally having the 4 horsewomen. Asuka makes her debut here, but this could have been a patch update for 2K16. Why did I pay extra $60 for this crap? It could have looked exactly the same as 2K16, especially if they were going to take out Showcase. It's time for a change. What are you, Owen Hart? I'm the hardest working superstar. I'd rather be amazing than popular. I guess that's a face thing to say. Sure, and like again, on paper, this looks fine. Having promos and it breaks up having the match after match after match, so it breaks up that thing for rivalries. But it's like, come on, what are we doing here? What 2K game had the best roster? Objectively, 2K14. You can't top that. I've always preferred the WWE Scratch logo. We all did. I don't have an issue with the current logo. It's just I think it's overstayed its welcome. We need something new. We just need something new. Being a champion starts with a title shot. I'm the best pure athlete. I don't know. Again, none of these. I see now I lost some stuff. I guess maybe that was an okay choice. I don't know what this promo image is. So stupid. I hated this era of professional wrestling. I think again, I know people hate the PG era. You know, we're still technically in the PG era, but this was like this was during the. I mean, this was more of the post PG era. I feel like the PG era ended after Undertaker after WrestleMania 30. I feel like they leaned more into as much as they could with the PG product. This is like more what the reality era or post. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I guess I'm going full heel, but that's okay. Even though I'm a face, what is going on? You see what I mean? I don't know. Am I supposed to be a face or a heel? You know, there's a face meter. I hate this. I like John's. Oh, that was the best thing probably from 2015 to 16 on Raw. Even John Cena said he wanted to make they had nothing for him after he beat The Rock, so they gave him the US title and he ran with it. Some of the best stuff. This might be a dumb question, but I genuinely don't know what The Island is. The Island is basic, from what I understand, The Island is an adaptation from NBA's 2K My City, which the issue. These are my last words, okay? Sure, I think Charlotte might say that, but then I lost points. It's like, what am I doing here? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. What I understand, The Island is a adaptation from the NBA 2K series from My City. And the issue is it makes no sense for us players. My City thing with NBA, sure, whatever, based in reality. The Island, we're in this unrealistic world with the wrestlers. They make us some stupid stuff, and you essentially are just spending money just to get some authentic some authentic stuff, you know, like Adidas or whatever stuff. But then the most egregious part with 2K25, they locked 2 superstars specifically to that mode. And for us PC players, I'm part of the PC Master Race now. I got screwed out of Goldberg and Nikki Bella. I can't even play it because they didn't put it on PC for 2K25, which we're gonna get to because they could have, but they're assholes about it. What is your favorite WWE stage to this? In terms of regular Raw and SmackDown, I'm always gonna be a fan of the SmackDown Fist. So that's that. Isn't this the reality era? Yes, this would have been considered reality era. It was post PG, now reality era. Again, I think the match qualities were great. I mean, storylines were just there, but again, the match quality got put up a lot after the PG era. I mean, the PG era match was good too. They kind of had to focus on that because the storyline they had to be watered down because they couldn't push the envelope thanks to them being PG. They did what they could. Creator, just want to say these streams really been enjoyed. I appreciate you being here, man. I try. I mean, with 2K17, I'm trying. There's nothing to really talk about that I haven't treaded with 2K16. But in general, I appreciate that you liked it. Again, I had this idea for like 2 months, and I was working on the research and all of these games and like what we're going to talk about. I didn't think anyone would care, but the fact that you guys are here, or you've been here for as long, for these past weeks, I think we're almost 3 weeks in. I appreciate it. I'm glad. I told myself, as long as one person enjoys this, at least one person understands what I'm trying to do, and they actually say they enjoy the stream, I would be content with that. And with you saying that, I know I'm assuming all you guys feel the same because you want to be here. I appreciate you guys. Just want to bring something different to community. I feel like these past 2 years, these past 2 years, especially, I feel like this community in the WWE games community has reached a certain ceiling where we're just getting the same crap from other. I mean, I'm not trying to talk crap about the creators. I'm just saying I feel like we reached a ceiling of creativity in the community. I want to bring something different. You don't have to, when I see creativity, I mean something original. I feel like I go on. Part of the reason why I made this is that I feel like I log in on YouTube, I type in WWE 2K26, and I see like the same 5 video styles every single time I log in, and it's like, this is a problem. We need to do something different here. I'm seeing the same type of videos over and over every single day. I can't watch the fact that I can't watch stuff from my own community. That's what frustrates me. That's why I'm trying to do something different. The island is a free roam world, but it doesn't make any sense in the context of the WWE. I know they made it try to make sense because of the whole microtransaction, but that's the problem. This doesn't work. If you want to sell me the goddamn attires, just sell me the attires. I don't screw the middleman of me playing these stupid matches that I do not want to play. Just sell me the attires. The Rock vs. John Cena and CM Punk carried the PG era. I mean, like I said, stuff like that, the match quality and stuff like that was fine. It's just they can only push and I think that's kind of the point of the PG era, because they had to lay back on the storyline. The quality, the focus had to be on the matches. That ringside pass is trash. Because they don't. The issue with the ringside pass. Let me get out of this so we can actually look at my career. And I've never looked at my career before, so this is new. The issue with the ringside pass. They don't. When you try to reach everyone, you try to reach no one. Who is the ringside pass for? Again, I don't have an issue with Borderlands. I know people like Borderlands. I'm a wrestling. I know this might sound crazy to 2K. It might sound like a foreign concept to them. I actually bought the wrestling game. So wait, what can I do? So my career. So again, this is what. Okay, whatever. Who cares? Create a superstar. I can't import one based on what you just said. The issue with the ringside pass is, again, who is it for? I'm a wrestling fan, but you're giving me Borderlands shit. I don't inherit. If that was in the island, great. Or my faction, great. I don't care. Why am I grinding for my faction stuff or island stuff that I will never touch a day in my life? That's my issue with the ringside pass. If you're to put all those alternate tires that you purposely hold off for my faction, just repeating them every single year, cough, cough, Undertaker 20, that was in 2K22, that wasn't even my faction card to begin with. It was the freaking pre-order bonus. I can't. Oh my god, I can't. It was the freaking pre-order bonus for 2K22, but these people had the audacity to now put them as a persona card for my faction. I cannot with this company. Oh my god, it just frustrates me. It's like, am I the only one seeing the insanity of this? I basically have to pay money for an attire that I pre-ordered. I can't. I just can't. And sure, I'll just be bought. I don't care. I've never played my career in this mode, so we're just gonna see how it looks. Talk your shit. It's 4:31. Again, that's why I said, Mustafa. I appreciate you being here. I know it's late for you. The future of my streams, I'm gonna figure it out. At 2K25, I think we're gonna have a real talk at 2K. God damn it! 1 second, guys. I'm waiting for it to skip. God damn it. We're gonna have a real talk how like the streams. I want to be at a time where everyone could watch. Cause again, Mustafa, I know you're here every day and I appreciate it. But I just feel bad that it's like 4 o'clock in the morning for you. I wouldn't want people to stay up that late just to watch me. I appreciate it though. We're gonna figure it out. You're doing something original with WQ that I haven't seen before. You creative. I love everyone just makes it. My issue. So okay, you do really want to go there? Are we really gonna go unfiltered now? Do I have to say what needs to be said? Here's the issue with the 2K community, right? Oh, stupid fly. The issue with the 2K, I'm waiting for this shit to skip. Can I not skip? Oh my god, I can't skip it. All right, I'm gonna let it play. The issue with the 2K community. I must preface this by saying, I don't have an issue with any creator by any means. My issue is the lack of innovation and originality. I think we all know who's the top person in this community is. I'm going to try to just not name creators, but I think if you are in the 2K community, you should know who these people are. We already know who the top person creator community is. He does what he does. I actually have no issue with what he does. The type of videos that he makes, even though he's more of a wrestler now than a creator, which is fine. But it's like everyone copied off of his format, and that's part of the problem. And then this other guy who came to our community, he like doubled down on that, and everyone copies off of him. It's like the issue is everyone just copies off of each other. Then you had Murphs, who was probably the best universe mode player at the time, and then once he did, everyone copied off his universe mode style, me included, I will admit. But keep in mind, this was like 2018 and 19. Then when Murphs went to what ifs, everyone start doing what ifs. It's like, why does everyone keep copying off of each other? Can we all just think of something different to do? Like, it's not that hard. I'm not trying to tout myself, but the video I put out, my long form video, it didn't get 800,000 views just because. I think people find when I put out something original and different, and people liked it. That's all it takes, guys. That video isn't really that special. I'm just simply telling a story. I'm not trying to like discredit my own video. I guess I'm in the crowd. We're all just generic in the crowd, but it's like we're at a point where everyone just copies off each other. Just do something different. That's all I'm asking. It's not that hard to think of something creative. The PS3 version doesn't have 2K17 showcase. Well, they don't even have the Hall of Fame showcase, Michael, is what you're saying? So we're screwed. Oh, so the last gen, they were screwed. You only had Universe. Oh my god. And they didn't even have my career. So that means the only game mode that you had to play, how did y'all live? The only game mode that y'all had to play was Universe mode. Oh my god. The audacity of 2K is so crazy. Yeah, Ringside Pass killed 2K20. Again, it's just the Ringside Pass. Again, everything sounds good on paper but the execution is always off. That seems to be the par for the course for 2K. They have something that sounds great, but the execution is like, who's doing the execution? God damn it! Every time, Matt Bloom, we see you every single time. I mean, I love seeing you, but come on, the execution is always off. It's like, imagine they were to put those stupid alternate tires that they keep locking away on purpose. Just put them in Ringside Pass. Great, whatever, cool. At least it's something that I'm worth playing that I would actually probably use. I'm never going to use the Borderlands stuff. I'm sorry, I'm just not. I don't care. This is a wrestling game. I want to play a wrestling game, not Borderlands.
It's hard work. Guys like Finn, Kevin,
let's see. Hey, they lock characters behind a paywall. No, it's not that they lock characters behind a paywall. They lock the outside them. They don't lock the character. They lock the alternate tires that were already in previous game behind a paywall. That's what frustrates me. It's like, either don't have them in the game at all, or just literally just have them at like virtual currency or something. That's my issue with it. How much actual money would it cost to get everything from the current game, which is enough? Oh, you're gonna spend. No, see, I can't even answer that. I can't realistically give you an answer to that, Red, because unfortunately the way my faction works, you're not guaranteed anything. I mean, it's not my faction. That's how microtransaction gacha games. Okay, best believe, even though they don't call it that, my faction is literally a console gacha game. It's literally a console. Now, if you know anything about gacha games, I mean, I play Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. For anyone who's a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh!, we can talk. And Pokemon Unite. They are not as egregious with so I guess quick summary on as I do this. Quick summary. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel and Pokemon Unite has a battle pass, but you know the difference between those battle passes and what 2K did? For one, because there's only one game, they're not going to be released yearly. The battle passes mean something, and the battle pass are just cosmetic stuff that they will not lock cards behind a battle pass. They give you cosmetics and more gyms and whatever. And with Pokemon Unite, it's just the outfits or whatever. And early access to one of the new Pokemon that they released for Pokemon Unite and Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. 2K thought it was just some crazy idea that they think the wrestling fans are going to go crazy or pay money for my faction and the island stuff, but they knew they wouldn't, which is part of the reason why the original idea was having tier 20 as the last of the 4 DLC superstars. Again, you 100% best believe had they still gotten away with it, if the community didn't backlash the way they did, Jeff Hardy would have been tier 20 or 40. Mark, like, you could take that to the bank. They were gonna make him tier 20 to 40. Of course they were gonna do that, because they knew people were gonna spend an extra $80 just to get Jeff Hardy. And they knew they were gonna put Matt Hardy as tier 1, and then Jeff Hardy as tier 20 or 40, and then let the money roll in. They were banking on that extra paycheck for one of those developers to buy a yacht, I guess. 12 years ago, the WWE. So the answer, hold up. Sorry, before I answer, get off topic for that one, TB2K. To answer your question, right? I can't give you an answer because it's a gacha system. You might spend $100 and you might be able to get 3 alternate attires, or more than likely you're going to spend $1,000 and get 3 alternate attires. That's basically is the answer. It's a gacha system. And unlike other gacha systems, this doesn't even have a pity system. Like other games like Fate Stay Night or whatever. Or Fate Grand Order, I believe, is a game that I know people who play that has like a pity system. So I can't even answer that question realistically. 12 years ago, the WWE video game. Look, I grew up. I'm gonna tell you the reason why I even started a YouTube channel. You know who they were? Tony Pizza Guy, Tubby Emu. I know those names are extinct. I know Smack Talks. That's why Smack Talks is the GOAT. He is all that is left from a bygone era. Smack Talks is like the only one left. I know Tony P's guy does some other stuff with the podcast, but I'm talking about Smack Talks is the only person holding it down in community. The only person I have any ounce of respect for in this community is Smack Talks. He's been here from the very beginning. He hasn't changed anything of who he was. He's still the same person from years ago. Like, he's holding it down, in my personal opinion. The second Smack Talks stop getting invited, it's pretty much I'm done with in terms of interacting with anyone in the community. Outside of just here in my chat, I'm just gonna stay in my own little circle. If Smack Talks ever stops going to those events, he's the only person I look at in terms of wrestling content. Everyone else is just stupid challenge video. This insert finisher for superstar in every video game. This it was fine the first time around. Don't get me wrong. It was creative the first time around, but when you do it 20 different times, with the only difference being insert new wrestler here, that's where you get that's where the problem comes. It's like there's no creative stuff. Everyone copies each other because YouTube algorithm does reward good content. I mean, I would argue they rewarded mine because, like, again, it's not. No. You're mistaking. They don't reward good content because they don't reward bad content, and I think this is the issue people have. They don't think that their creative idea is not good enough for them to make it, so they rather copy what already works, and that's basically is the issue. It's not just the games community, it's YouTube in general. People only copy what works instead of think of something different, and that's why every video feels like it's the same. It's not just the 2K community. I'm just saying it because I'm a part of it, obviously, and you guys watch it. It's an issue with YouTube in general. People aren't creative anymore. They can't think of original ideas. Part of the problem is, now, again, I actually like Mr. Beast, right? I actually have no issue with Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast's biggest mistake was revealing his playbook, his blueprint of how he did stuff, how he does whatever. By revealing what he did, everyone just started copying off of him. And it's like, and now everyone else copies off everyone else. It's just, oh, so the way to succeed on YouTube is just copy off Mr. Beast, and everyone just copy off everyone else, and that's the current state of YouTube. It's not just our community problem. Since I'm a part of it, I'm just bringing it up, but it's more of a YouTube as a whole. But yeah. A-Train, yes, Matt Bloom, Tenzai, which variate the 3 faces of, what is it? The 3 faces of Albert. Like, how many we have Albert, Tenzai, Matt Bloom, A-Train. Like, what is the 3? We could have the 4 faces of I don't know. Your character kind of looks like a bald Sandman. I'm so glad Sandman's back actually in the current games on that topic. I wish they would put in Sabu so we have the complete original ECW roster, kind of, because we're never gonna get Tommy Dreamer in the game probably, as long as Paul Heyman lives. I think he hates Tommy Dreamer. I don't know if it's a joke or not, but I think he hates Tommy Dreamer now. So we're probably never gonna get Tommy Dreamer in here, but at least we got Terry Funk, Sandman. If only they would add Sabu. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I mean, about my faction character locked behind a paywall. Just use an expedition. I know, it's so stupid. And we're gonna talk about that for 2K22 and 23. We're definitely gonna go in depth about my faction, since all this started there. 2003 Lesnar or 2007 Cena. In terms of who was OP, 2007 Cena. Literally, the only thing that stopped Cena was him getting injured. He was unbeatable. Like, people talk about the reign of terror that was Triple H. Cena never lost. Once he got that title back from Edge, this dude never lost. Like, you think I'm exaggerating. This dude was on a whole nother... He was basically Roman Reigns before Roman Reigns 2020. That was Cena 2007. This dude did not lose. All the odds stacked to get... Like, this dude did not lose. Y'all thought, again, Roman was bad? No. 2007 Cena was on a different level. The only thing that stopped him was an injury. Think about that. Had he not got injured, I think the main event WrestleMania would have been him and Orton, but they had to pivot because Cena got injured. But that's my point. And then that's where Super Cena, people already hated Cena back then anyway from like 2005, but 2007 Cena was on a different league of its own. No. 2007 Cena was on a different league. This dude did not lose, literally. He beat Umaga. Like, there was no stopping this man. They threw everything at this guy. Yeah, all characters should be available back to official offline mode. They want to pay us, let it be online BS. Consumers enable 2KB. No, and unfortunately, it's few people, but unfortunately, here's how it works. It's all about profits. Those people are just paying for JPEGs of character cards. But the amount of money, again, I will always say this. 2K will get rid of community creation before they ever get rid of my faction, because community creation does nothing to them. It's a net negative for them. They're actually losing money on community creation because of the servers. They have to run those servers. Trust me, the only reason why they haven't got rid of community creation, I think that's like the final pillar or the straw that will break, and people will lose their minds if they get rid of community creations. They will burn probably 2K to the ground if they ever get rid of community creation. That's like the last bastion of hope that is keeping the community intact at community creation. They ever get rid of that, it's over. It's basically over. It's basically over for them. So they know not to get rid of that. Sometimes you just can't touch. Like, they're not going to touch universe mode. They're going to do the bare minimum for universe mode, but they're never going to get rid of it. They can't. People will lose their minds in community creations. They're just going to do the bare minimum every single year.
Show me something. Make it happen.
There we go. It's the same problem with FIFA, EA. They only care about Ultimate Team. Well, again, I've only played FIFA once back in the day, so I have no idea about the Ultimate Team. I've heard of it, so I don't know much about it. Basically, kill the community for career mode. People can't play anymore. It's just going so bad. And it's the few people. Again, people want to change. I always say, if you want to change community, you have to. It starts within the community. Tell these people, yo, if you actually want to play a good game, stop buying this crap. I know you can't force people to not do anything, but it's like those few people are causing the current It's very simple. If my faction did not work as well as 2K wanted to work, it would not have been in 2K23. People legitimately spent money on my faction 2K22. And I must emphasize 2K22 because it was only single player. I wish I was making this up. My faction 2K22 was only single player, no online, but people spent money on it. And because of that, they brought it back the next year. It's insane. It's insane. The Mr. Beast YouTube is real, but that's a whole other topic for a whole nother time. But yes, in general, it affected our community greatly, and people just copy. Again, I have no issue with challenge videos. Do not get me wrong. I have no issue with them at all, by no means. But when 20 people do the same exact crap, I'm sorry. Maybe it's just me, but I'm not really a fan of. I recreated every Backlash match. Insert pay-per-view match here. I refereed insert pay-per-view match here. I did 15 OMG moments. Insert time here. It's like, I've seen it the first time. It was great the first time. I'm not doing it again. It's like 2000 Cena was the beginning of Super Cena. He was Roman Reigns, but showed up. I thought it was 2005. No. 2005, people just hated Cena. He wasn't unbeatable. Remember, he lost to Edge. He lost, like, he was losing in 2005. It wasn't until he got that title back. Once he beat Edge for it. And then they never, remember, he lost against RVD. Then I think he lost Sabu once, or he beat Sabu. Either he lost Sabu once and he beat him at the pay-per-view, or one of those things. Like, Cena was beatable back in 2005, but the second he got that title, and Unforgiven 2006, it was a wrap. It was a wrap. This dude could not be touched. Then now the NXT booster. Oh, cool. Because I did pre-order Superstar. Today you'll be sure. This does look interesting, but again, we'll look at my career another time. But I'm just talking to you guys right now. Why are there so many goddamn? What are we doing? What are we doing? Again, this looks interesting, but why are there so many goddamn cutscenes? Goddamn it, 2K. Yeah, '05 is when he moved to Raw Star Super. But '07 was like '07. Literally an injury. Basically, Mr. Kennedy stopped him. It wasn't for Mr. Kennedy. It's so crazy. Mr. Kennedy, which is probably why Mr. Kennedy got fired. Could have ruined Cena. That's why I guess Cena was never a fan. I know there's other reasons, but he was never a fan of him. Probably because he ruined his run. He never gave that Bruno Sammartino run had he not got injured. Like, what's the saddest got banned for hitting wrestlers? And we're gonna, as I said, I know I only mentioned it in passing. There's a underlying story that's being built behind. I know it sounds crazy. There's a story arc happening in these streams that started with 2K15. I mentioned it with PC. It's going to culminate with 2K25, which is the PC community. Spoiler, it's the PC community. It's slowly been building. We're going to culminate it once you're going to start to see it in 2K22. The story of it, I have a whole story about it in 2K25. But yes, we're going to talk about all that good stuff. Essentially, in essence, the PC community and the monitors are the reason why, unfortunately, the way the community is right now in terms of how 2K is reacting, because 2K is just reacting to what we do. When you try to stop them from making money, they're going to do bad decisions. Unfortunately, I'm not saying it's only takes a little bit of people poking the bear for the company to react how they're going to do. I mean, how they are.
Show us what you can do against Samoa Joe. This is your
Wrestlers hidden in WWE 2K files. Oh yeah, you ever mod old SmackDown versus Raw games? I should. I haven't gotten to it yet. I should. Like Here Comes the Pain, probably. Like stuff like No Mercy, Here Comes the Pain look like more fun when it's modded. So I'll look into that. I guess we'll do this some. Can I just quit out of this tutorial? I literally can't. I'm gonna get to what's the actual plot. Okay, we get to some plot here. What do you think YouTube Shorts affected? No. I know YouTube Shorts didn't affect YouTube. It's just, again, people like to take the issue with Shorts is essentially the issue with people's current creativity. They have none, so they take the lowest common denominator, bottom barrel content, and just regurgitate it every single time. Shorts, you can be creative in Shorts. That you can tell a story in a short in a minute. I think that takes a specific skill. You know, back in Vine, back in the day, we had 7 seconds. That takes skill. It's not about people's attention span. It's just they lack creative vision because they just want to take the easy way out, just make the most amount of money with little effort. You can be creative in 7 seconds. You can then be creative in a minute, and now they have 3 minutes. People can tell good stories on Shorts. They just don't want to, and that's the problem. They have no reason to because people's attention spans are cooked now. I mean, yeah, but it's more so what the content that's being put out, like this. What is it, brain rot, as people like to call it? People just put out the same regurgitated crap. It's just. They make it's, and I hate to call it out. Maybe it's just me. I feel like our community puts out content that's made for kids. Honest to God, maybe it's just me. When I see a title that says hitting Roman Reigns finisher in every 2K game, is that video for me? I'm 29 years old. All right, I don't think that video's for me. I don't think that video's for me. Because like I can do that myself. It's literally for kids. I'm here to either watch wrestling or listen to a story. I'm here for people's experiences of the game. I'm not here for looking at something I could just do myself. It's like, you know what you can't do yourself? Tell a story. Just speaking fact. I thought I was the only one. Okay, I'm just saying. I thought I was the only one. It's like there's so many other examples. Again, I'm not trying to show. I'm a YouTuber. I know how hard it is to make videos. Do not get me wrong. Those videos are not. They're not easy to make, do not get me wrong, but it's like you're making them for a very specific type of viewer, and then you wonder why the community is the way it is now. We make videos for a very specific type of viewer, children, and you wonder why people act like children. It's like 1 + 1 = 2. It's and again, I don't blame BDE. Yes, I'm calling him out now. He's not the issue. He started all of this, but again, if he was the only person doing it, I'll have no issue with it. But then everyone copied him, and it's like we're looking at. It's like I said, Pete. This is why I'm doing this. This is literally why I made this stream. I looked at the community back in February. I was like, people treat this community in these games as jokes. They literally, Look at any stream. Do you think I'm wrong? Look at the 2K26 streams right now. I want you to look at those streams. And you tell me what they're doing. They're either doing one or two things. Either people are doing e-feds or whatever, which is fine. Then they're doing other stuff that I can't even really talk about because I think YouTube, I don't know how YouTube hasn't even, I don't even know how YouTube hasn't even taken these streams down. These shorts live streams of these 2K things. I think you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, they have these AI thumbnails, but it's like very suggestive stuff that I don't even know how it's still allowed on YouTube, but it is what it is. It's like people treat these games and series as a joke, but it's like there's so much history and good stuff here. Why isn't, I know this is going to sound crazy, these games should be looked at the same way people look at Pokemon, Mario, Sonic, all this other stuff, because like these games have longevity. Not a lot of games say they could last 26 years, but yet this series did. But no one takes it seriously because the top of the people don't take it seriously. How can you expect people could take us seriously if the people who are on top don't take it seriously? And it doesn't help when 2K promotes and takes these people, fly them out, and you wonder why nothing ever changes. The people who are promoting your game are the same reason why the community the way it is now. There's no change. It's always going to be exactly the way it is. You heard what Booker T said about Aleister Black. Well, I missed a lot after that whole rant. My bad. My bad. Seriously, Mr. Kennedy was the only thing that could stop him, but that cost him his WWE career for it. That's why I said it's just funny how I think they were giving that Bruno run. Had it not been for Kennedy, I think someone got that Bruno run. Do you watch any wrestlers podcasts? If so, who? I listened to some of the Chris, you know, the guy who interviews some wrestlers. I used to listen to a lot of Jim Cornette. I just haven't had personally time. I think Jim Cornette's funny as hell. His takes, yes, you're fairly critiquing both WWE and AEW, more so AEW. But I like his take. I just haven't had time to listen to him. My career is so boring, in my opinion. It's good for a sport game like NBA. Again, this is the problem with 2K. That's why 2K19, you don't know why people like 2K19's My Career, because for the first time, they actually treated how a WWE game is supposed to be, a story. This non-linear bullcrap in My Career does not need it. That's what Universe Mode is for. I want a story. I want to see a progression of a superstar, and especially if it's a crazy superstar, his journey from beginning to end. Whatever this crappy when you do these grinding stuff is so unnecessary. It's like I don't care. I don't care about that. This isn't sports. They treat it when you treat something like basketball and football. You wonder why this does not work for wrestling. Because again, wrestling's not real. But when you try to treat it as real, you're gonna get dumb stuff like this. Why is it that a game from 2003 understood that from Here Comes the Pain? They didn't make you grind for crap. They put you on a calendar. If you're booked for the card, great. If you're not booked for the card, you better do something your next time. Because there were some points in Here Comes the Pain you weren't booked on Raw or SmackDown. Especially if you start with Crave Wrestling. When you finally got booked, you better win that match. If you don't, you're going to be going for another 4 weeks. It was realistic. It made sense. It's like this grinding bullshit that's in My Career and My Rise makes no sense to me. They just don't understand. You heard what Booker T said about Aleister Black. I have my opinions on that. Yes, he basically said, I guess I might as well switch my screen to us since we're just talking here. I like conversations like this. You know, it's about 2K17, but this is a perfect example of, because there's nothing new with this game, there's not really much for me to show you guys. I have no problem having this conversation with you guys for a little bit. So yeah, let's just talk. In terms of what Booker T said about Aleister Black, I understand his point of view, but Aleister Black got dealt a very bad hand. Let's be real. Again, Aleister Black is a perfect example of people just don't translate well from NXT to main roster. I think Booker T is referring to his main roster run. If that's the case, he's 100% right. I don't disagree with him. Obviously, if you're referring to NXT, there's so many Aleister Black moments. Jesus Christ, when he debuted, his feud with Velveteen Dream, him and Johnny Gargano, him and Tommaso Ciampa. There's so many other good moments with him. Even his brief tag team with Ricochet on NXT, there's so many good stuff. But when he got called up, he got directionless, basically. And it's like, some people just don't translate well. That's all it is. I mean, if he's referring to the main roster, yes, I 100% agree with what he said. No one can ever remember Aleister Black, man. People are going to point to Damian Priest. Well, it just happened this year. Give it another year, no one's going to remember that. I'm dead serious. No one's going to remember that. My career is so boring. We already said that. I like when shorts are good. I like when... Where am I at? I like when shorts are good and used as like an intro to the video itself, but not really like used like that. It just, again, people don't know. If you look, I hate for self-promote. Look at my shorts. Look at what I tried to do with the girl that I had briefing. Look at the other ones previous to that. I tried to do something different. Again, I'm at least trying. Will it fail and not get a lot of views? Sure, but I'm willing to try. I refuse to be part of the mold that I hate currently in the 2K community. I refuse to be a part of that. I'm not going to do the stupid shit that is for kids. I'm trying to tell stories. Sometimes it might work, sometimes it doesn't. I just refuse to be a part of that. I'm gonna always try something different. Thing with the girl that is briefly stopped, because obviously it just wasn't working. Again, I was trying to do something different. I guess community didn't like it. I'm gonna reevaluate the shorts. I do like making shorts. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna reevaluate it and think of something else. But that's what you're supposed to do as a creator. You don't just keep beating a dead horse and just hopefully same people like it. If something doesn't work, you learn from your mistakes and now you move forward with something else. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Man, the creator just speaking facts. It is. I guess you agree with me with the whole. Again, just put out the same crap. I'm 29 July. I feel the same way. Again, I thought I was the only one. I think this is why I like the lives who are interactive. I mean, yeah, I have no problem interacting with you guys. I mean, I feel like with these streams, I was trying to. I mean, part of the reason why I made these streams, I was trying to target a very specific viewer who are basically like, I'm trying to target my audience, as in I never really had a defining audience. People who think or like have the same viewpoints as me with wrestling. I'm an older wrestling fan. I'm not. The product is not meant, not necessarily for me anymore. This is obviously, they're gonna give us moments for us, but it's for a new generation that they're trying to hopefully get as much money as they could, as they did for us back in the day. So I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm just trying to reach my people who grew up with the same wrestling games that I grew up with. And we could just remember this at a good time. I'm not saying that we'll eventually talk about the current games too. Like, eventually I probably might touch 2K26, but I don't foresee it on my channel. Because everyone's already talked about 2K26. I'm not really going to add anything to the conversation that's already been talked about. And so I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for me to talk about the classics. And there's nothing wrong with talking about the classics. Again, these games should be viewed in the same way people could always talk about Sonic Adventure 2, Mario 64, and whatever. And I know that sounds like a crazy idea, but it's like you can if you're willing to do it, but no one's willing to do it because people treat these games like disposable income, as in we're just gonna keep going, skipping to the next game. These are good games, guys. Where was I? I know I'm trying to update as quickly as possible. Make the best WWE video game. Who's Youngboy11? Let me look him up real quick. Actually, why not? I can look him up live. All right, let's make sure I didn't miss anyone. I'm trying to make sure I got everything. I think this is why. Okay, I was here. So who is Youngboy11? 1 second. We can do this live. Actually, we're doing it live. YouTube.com. Have I looked at him before? Probably. Youngboy11. Okay, that doesn't work. Just do it this way. Oh wait. Huh. 1 second. Youngboy11. No, I've never heard of this guy. I don't think, have I heard of this guy? Have I watched any of his videos? I guess I'll look into him. I've never heard of this guy, but it seems like he has a following. It's just one of those people that go under the radar. Like, this goes under the radar, I guess. I'll look into him. So thanks for referencing him. Where was I? Please go to showcase. My career is so boring. Yeah, I forgot. We're gonna do, before we end the stream. I know I'm already past late. We're gonna do one show. Which showcase you want me to do? Well, we'll do one before we end it. We'll do one. Chris Van, W Games guy so quickly now. No, what? That's we're gonna, with 2K22 onward, we're gonna see part of the problem with 2K's direction of this. But these current game, thought the soundtrack for this game was hit. It is. Like I said, there's some good soundtrack, but no one's gonna talk about it because of the person who curated it. Locke, I see your name up there. Thanks for stopping by. People still talk about SmackDown Walking, and that's my point. They talk about it, but they don't showcase them. They just keep moving. Like they talk about it, but like showcasing in video, like people like, you can do that, guys. You can talk about other games than the current ones, and if you're creative, like, I think they're worried about them not getting views, but people talk about SmackDown Walking, GMOs go to GM mode. What year? Again, for me, I think 2007 was the perfect GM mode. I don't know what the hell the current ones are. I'm surprised Kofi Kingston was left. They left for money. I mean, yeah, look at it for Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. I look at it like this: you have two sides that obviously don't see. They see two things different way. Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston feel like they should still be getting paid the same amount that they've been getting paid before, and to a certain extent, I can see why. Again, WWE is not WWE anymore. It's owned by TKO. They only care about profits and whatever, which is, I know it's going to sound crazy. That's what any business does. So did WWE. The only difference is WWE did not have the money TKO currently has. Because TKO has that money, they're going to keep looking like, okay, we're not going to, here's the thing, unlike the people who unlike Aleister Black, here's a perfect example. Unlike Aleister Black that they saw no value in, that's why they released him. They clearly still saw value in Kofi and Xavier Woods to a point. But they also realized, let's call a spade here. The New Day is not a draw in 2026. You can argue that's more of the creative side, but you can also argue that's more because there's no live events anymore where people could care about the New Day, that they were coming out every single night on live events. That's, again, there's a lot more nuances to it, but essentially New Day are not the draws they used to be back in 2015 to, dare I say, 2019 and 2020. They basically peaked when Kofi won. Let's be real. Let's call a spade a spade. They basically peaked when Kofi won the title. After that, I can't remember anything memorable that the New Day did after Kofi won the title. Anything prior to Kofi winning the title, they're all remembered. Like, again, they held the tag team division down for years. Raw and SmackDown. But outside of Kofi winning the title, that's pretty much it. Kofi, I wish we could play these older games, but they're on newer console. They can never re-release them because did you check out ZM? ZM. Who is ZM? Okay, I want to look him up too. Someone commented on my video and they said something mean. Can you please tell me what to say? You gotta give me a second, Sarah. I guess I will look afterwards. Can't really look at it now. But I guess we'll do, I don't know. Which one? We'll end it with, you know what? We'll do Jacqueline and Ivory. Why not? Just because it's something different. Jesus Christ! This showcase line was ads because it was DLC. It was the Hall of Fame. This is my point. I know why they couldn't do. I know they gave the corporate reason. I don't even know what the corporate reason was, to be honest with you. It was just some excuse to not to do it. The issue with Brock Lesnar, you can't really do a Brock Lesnar showcase without Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle wasn't coming back until the next game. So it's like their hands were tied. But why make Brock Lesnar the goddamn cover superstar? I don't know. Why make him the freaking cover star? You weren't gonna do a showcase about it. Like, again, you can't really do Brock Lesnar without Kurt Angle. Like, that's pretty much almost the entirety of his beginnings of his career, which was only 2 years, mind you, back in the day. But like, you really can't tell the story of Brock Lesnar without Kurt Angle. And him not being there greatly affects that. So it was like no uno when it comes to the showcase for Brock Lesnar. I think I said that phrase right. It was just basically not going to happen. What's your favorite pro wrestler of all time? Oh, again, my as Booker T would say, my fave five. Well, first of all, greatest of all time. Jesus Christ, I can't. I wish. There we go. I'm allowed to finally skip it. Goddamn, I can finally skip it. They were just gonna play this match and call it for this one. We could probably talk a lot more 2K18 as well, because there's no difference between them and 2K18. Favorite wrestler of all time, Undertaker. My fave five: Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Edge, and Christian of all time. I said something twice, but I really want them to be quiet and run lesson. And you can always block them, Sarah. You can always just easy to do just to block them. That's the glory about YouTube. You can just block them. People are giving you a hard time, just block them. And when's the last time Ivory's been in a WWE 2K game? And Jacqueline, actually, now that I think about it. And then with 2K18, there is no showcase, so it's like, man, oh man, they want you to pay $60 for that. What is she doing? Oh, she baited me, and yet Michael Cole, JR, and JBL as commentators. Like, can y'all try? If you're not gonna go again, that right there pisses me off. I know so little and it means nothing. JBL, Michael, and JR on commentary. Even though I have them muted, but that's not the point. When they did Stone Cold Showcase, they made sure to have JR. Cause that's my point. They cared. They cared. If you guys aren't going to go all the way with something, don't do it. Like they simple stuff like that. I know JR probably wasn't even under contract with them at the time, even though he was in the Greatest Royal Rumble 2018, so I don't see the issue here. They just purposely didn't use him. You could just find audio of Jerry and JR talking about this match. Undertaker and Kurt Angle my favorite. Again, I mean, Kurt Angle just doesn't make my top 5. If we did a top 10, Kurt Angle would be there, but top 5 is just Undertaker is the GOAT. He is literally the reason why. I mean, probably would not be a wrestling fan if it wasn't for the Undertaker, especially during his American Badass gimmick. Ivory, right to censor. They should have alternate tire for Ivory to right to censor. That would be, if they ever would have put her back in the games. HBK and The Rock are also up there for me. I know it's crazy. When it always came to Stone Cold and Rock, I always preferred The Rock over Stone Cold back in the day. The Rock is just not in my top 5. Again, top 10, sure, but top 5, nah. Did you get into pro wrestling? Again, I need someone to look this up. I wish I had the free time to do it. I just don't. My first visual image of wrestling, it was a Monday Night Raw. Was there a match with Undertaker, Kane? I know. There was a match that had Undertaker, Stone Cold, and The Rock in the ring at the same time, or vaguely. That was my first. I know it had probably be 1999. Is there any match that had Undertaker, The Rock, and Stone Cold in the ring at the same time? And that was my first glimpse of wrestling. I just don't remember. It might have been Raw. I just don't know. Or it might have been SmackDown when it had that Raw stage. My top 5 are Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, Eddie Guerrero, RVD, Kane. The funny part is I always prefer Matt Hardy over Jeff Hardy, but Randy Orton, you can't go wrong with him. Eddie Guerrero, RVD, Kane. I feel it's not that I dislike Kane. I just always prefer it. Same thing with Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. I always prefer Matt Hardy over Jeff Hardy. I know that sounds crazy. I'm sounding like 1% of people will ever say that. Like, I always prefer Undertaker over Kane. Dream match was Cactus Jack's prime, and it never happened in NXT. I think it was supposed to happen in NXT, but it just never happened for some reason. Hit Ivory with a strong strike. Like, dream match, I think I forgot who said it yesterday. My apologies. Was Sting and Undertaker. Y'all might have said it earlier today, and I just forgot. Sting and Undertaker. A match that should have happened, but for reasons unknown, we just never got it. We should have gotten that match. We should have gotten AJ versus Shawn Michaels, but it just never happened. Especially if we were going to bring Shawn Michaels out of retirement to begin with. At least have him fight goddamn AJ Styles. For God's sakes. Well, there for me, but I found Kane cool. Again, 2001 Kane, like 2001 to 2003 Kane was a beast. I didn't necessarily have an issue with him unmasking. Like, I like 2004 Kane, but it's like after a while, it's like when you kept putting him in tag teams with Big Show and whatever, it's like, it is what it is. I don't care. Like 2000, I feel like peak Kane was 2001 to 2003. I feel like that was like the peak Kane. Like, he was on roids. Like, yeah, he was on roids, but he looked like a demon. Like, that was Demon Kane right there. In my personal opinion. The greatest year of WWE. See, that varies. In terms of, like, wrestling, pure wrestling, ignoring storylines, that's a very good question. Like, pure, oh my God, match of the year. Well, that depends. I mean, see, that kind of factors in NXT and 205 Live now, doesn't it? So I have to say, arguably 2016 and 17 were probably like the best wrestlings. And I have more so do so with NXT matches of the year, every single takeover. But storyline wise, oh, the Attitude Era, hands down. 2000, 2001, best time for wrestling, storyline wise. For the Attitude Era. Notice I said 2000, 2001. I didn't mention the Invasion. Like, essentially, the ending of the Attitude Era was the best storyline that they had. Stone Cold and The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, the whole 6-way storyline that resulted in the Armageddon Hell in a Cell, Kurt Angle, Rock, Kurt Angle, like Triple H, the three, like so much good stuff. TLC needs to start because WWE SmackDown switched around my first wrestling game. I think my first wrestling game was the original SmackDown. No, my first wrestling game, I lie. My first wrestling game was Attitude on the PS1. So yeah, I had that. But yeah, I mean, I can understand it. 2002 was a good year. Don't get me wrong. Especially again, my family was poor, so I was only able to watch SmackDown. So I was forced to watch Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, and then that's why I like the test. That's why I think I always like the wrestling. Like, people might say, "Oh, you're a WWE fan and you only like storylines." No, I grew up with SmackDown. That was the wrestling show. Raw was a storyline show. Even though I always liked Raw more than SmackDown, I just couldn't watch Raw outside the Raw rebound. Yeah, 2002 was a good year. I like the mask. Yep, very big man. He moves like it was good. Like the way he always exited the ring so like seamlessly. Like he did with zero effort. Like I said, he was he's about a demon. 2003 came before he take on the mat. That was a demon right there. That was a demon. Demon. Hopefully that's her finisher. There we go. And that's all the showcase. I love how there's no cutscenes, like no cinematic cutscene in this. That is so bad. They did not care. Granted, I don't think the match was that long anyway in real life, so why even put the goddamn match in it to begin with? If I ask you, what was your most obscure wrestler you could think of on the spot? What comes to mind? Most obscure. On the spot, I can't think about it. Eugene, I guess. Eugene? So I had to think about it for a couple seconds. Eugene is the first one I could think of. Obscure? I guess he's like the closest to obscure, I guess. Yeah, Eugene. Yeah, Eugene. Play Big Show versus Boss Man. I guess we could do one more, and then we'll call it. I think that at least has a cutscene. The nation of domination. God, what are we doing? I can't even skip it. I literally can't skip it. We gotta give it a second, guys. So I love how they played all the way through. Jesus Christ. Cable. What was SmackDown? What was SmackDown on? It was on UPN. It was on network TV. That's why I was able to watch it. I wasn't able to watch Raw because it was on cable, and my family was fortunately poor. We didn't have cable at that time. Yeah, it was on cable. Yeah, that's why I was able to watch SmackDown. So it wasn't for SmackDown being on network TV. I don't think I'd ever gotten into wrestling until like probably in 2006 or 7. So it wasn't for. There we go. I can finally skip it. And this is it's not even a real showcase match. It's just him fighting himself. I do like that they have a cutscene specifically for, like, I like that, but other than that, it's like, yeah, there's no point, bro. Yeah, well, okay, we'll do Big Show and Boss Man, then we'll call it for a stream. There we go. I had to think about it for a second. What a few times I have Armageddon 1999 as an arena. It's such a random thing. See, that's funny. So let me get this straight. I can skip entrances, but I can't skip the video package. How does that make any? Watch, I'm going to skip the entrance. I guarantee you video package is going to play. Watch this. You can't make this shit up. You just can't make it up. For me, everything is on Netflix, but in US is different, right? Yeah, so I'm in the US. I don't know where you're currently at. US dealings are so weird. So Raw's on Netflix. SmackDown's on USA. NXT's on the CW, which is network TV. The same station, ironically, the same station SmackDown was on back in the 2000s. And then the premium live events are on ESPN. NXT is currently on ESPN as well, thanks to their new deal. Saturday night's main events on Peacock. We used to hold the WWE Network. And now all the past premium live events are currently on Netflix. You're in the UK, I know. Basically, everything outside the United States, every single thing is on Netflix. NXT, premium live events, all of it's on Netflix. I wish it was like that in America, but money talks. So they're never going to do it like that. Money talks, unfortunately. I mean, luckily for them, money talks. So that's there. I finally. I know why they pick a match that Boss Man lost. Makes no. I don't know why they chose it. I know. Out of every match, you could at least have him win. Was there any option to have him win one with the hardcore title? Like, who did he beat for the hardcore title they couldn't put in the game? Does anyone remember? I know he's like a multiple-time hardcore champion. Like, they could at least put that in, for God's sakes. Like, who did he beat for the hardcore title with? You need so many different options. Watch Russ. I mean, hey man, you're not you're talking about the forbidden website. I used to use it back in the day, but I couldn't afford it. But again, it's so funny because back in the day it was so simple. Again, if you missed SmackDown, Superstars, or ECW, you could just watch on Hulu for free. Yes, I know that sounds crazy. Hulu used to be free. You could just watch it the next day. So crazy. And briefly at a time, you could watch NXT and Superstars and a recut of SmackDown on YouTube for free before they got stingy with it. So like we used to have it so good back in the day, man. It's so crazy. I'm on. Irish Whip Big Show in the ropes. I think this one actually has a cutscene too. So, but yeah, I know. Out of all, I know you're doing a Hall of Fame showcase, but out of all of them, I'm really about to look at this cutscene play. Who did Big Boss Man beat for the hardcore title they could not put in, or something? Like, come on. I'm looking right now. Let me see. The 4-time hardcore champion. Who could he not put?
Not even involved in this match. Well, he is now. That'll give you a headache. Oh, no. Whoa, are you kidding me? Choke slam to the in-house table. And from behind, Boss Man with that baton.
He won Evolving Show, Pepper. He won the hard. Oh, you know what's funny? So I just looked it up. I knew I wasn't crazy. So you know what's funny? What they could have did was Fully Loaded, 1999. Yeah, Fully Loaded, 1999. He beat Big Show at the July 25th Fully Loaded show for the hardcore title. And then at SummerSlam, yeah, I believe. Oh, no. But they could have done, they could have done a Fully Loaded show for the hardcore title on July 25th. But I don't even think the hardcore title is even in the goddamn game, so. WW Big Show vs. Andre Giant Dream match. Well, unfortunately, we never got it, Michael. Unfortunately, never got it. What the hell is happening? WWE Network is so much better than Netflix. We still have missing episodes of Raw and SmackDown. Oh yeah, Raw is terrible. You're not getting like outside of 2002 to now. Anything outside of that, you're done. Like I think 2001 only has like one episode. 2001 only has like one episode. Craig, what do you think of all of these celebrities getting involved in storylines? I don't have an issue if it's executed perfectly fine. Case in point, I think the best current position of it right now is, what is it? Little Yachty and Trick Williams with Sami Zayn. He is so minor to the storyline that you don't even notice that he's there. That's where I have no problem with. And again, celebrities being part of stuff is not really an issue. Case in point, it's about how you go about doing it. Bad Bunny, right? He doesn't affect anything about any other major. He was in a C-list feud with Damian Priest and The Miz. Like stuff like that, I have no issue with. Like with people use like Bad Bunny as an example, like, oh, but WWE used celebrities all the time. Yeah, but how you use them? It's not like Bad Bunny was fighting for the World Heavyweight title or whatnot. I'm not saying that's what's happening here. He's not inserted into storylines that doesn't. He's inserted into mid to lower card storylines. That's perfectly fine. When you're putting him in main event level story, like perfect example is Little Yachty. He's with the United States title. That's a mid card story, and he's so unimportant, which is perfect. That's the perfect spot. I have no issue with celebrities as long as they don't pertain to the current storyline, the main storyline. Like Big Bad Bunny. I always love when people point to Bad Bunny. It's like Yes, but you also remember the context. Bad Bunny's best feuds were against The Miz, who was doing nothing at the time, and Damian Priest, who was still that at that time was a B-list mid-card group with the Judgment Day. Floyd Mayweather was slightly perfectly. Yes, against the Big Show. It was a big money match, don't get me wrong, but it had no bearing on any of the storylines. It was a self-contained storyline that had nothing to do with anything. They put modern face Big Show to his retro body, lazy too. I know. If you remove the hair, that is literally Big Show bald. I know. It's pure laziness. I know. That's what's 2K, but who's going to stop him? Do you watch any other sports other than WWE? Well, again, when I only had SmackDown, I watched basketball because sometimes they would preempt SmackDown, so I did watch some basketball. I used to be a huge fan of football. I just don't have. When you grow older, you only have so many hobbies you can do outside of work. So I just stick with wrestling. I used to play again Madden 06. I was a huge fan of football. FIFA I only played once. So, but in terms of watching, I only have time to watch wrestling, if that. It's added to the show, but not main event. Yeah, like, I gotta say, I'm a fan of Logan Paul. Like, again, Logan Paul is a perfect example, too. Yes, I know he's a full-time wrestler now, but when he originally started, zero issue. Why? His feud was with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn when he first debuted, kind of briefly, even though it was in the match. And then the lower card feud with Rey Mysterio and Dominic, perfectly fine. Then he did The Miz. Yes, they did the one thing with Roman Reigns. Even though he wasn't at that level yet, I understand why they did it. It was in Saudi Arabia. I think the guy asked for Logan Paul, so sure. But then outside that, he did Seth Rollins. Had no involvement with the world title. Perfectly fine. Then they gave him the mid-card title. Again, I don't have it. I know people are going to say, but they're disgracing the United States title concept. Here's the thing. The whole point of the mid-card title is, especially how they were doing at the time, the whole point of the mid-card title is so it can have just relevance. It's a workhorse title. It's not meant to be important. And it's only important if something happens to the world champion. Then you got to insert the mid card. But at that point, whoever the mid card champions can get jumped to the world title scene. I love the United States title. I always thought the 2002 to 2020. Yes, that's how long that design lasted. The US title was like the best looking title of all time in my personal opinion. I was like so attached to that title, probably because it was on SmackDown. Again, I was the only show I could watch on network TV. But the United States title, I loved it. But yeah, the title served a purpose. I had no issue with Logan Paul when he came. Eventually, LA Knight won it. People loved it. That's my point. He was a heel. He did his job, and it worked out for everyone. But that's the point. And then by that point, Logan Paul was a full-time wrestler, so everything just worked out in the end. So that little guy who ear slapped is just so stupid. Travis Scott. And then I think Travis Scott is the perfect signal of why you can't put a main event celebrity. You can't put a celebrity in the main event scene because it screwed up everything. It screwed up John Cena's entire storyline of him being killed because Travis Scott just bailed. That right there is a perfect example. Like, they should have saw the sign, but I don't know what TKO is doing now. But I don't run the company, so again. Little Yachty, where he's currently positioned, is the perfect example. And even I Show Speed. I don't think anyone had an issue with I Show Speed with the Usos and LA Knight because it's not important. I don't think, from what I can tell, no one had an issue with the 6-man match. It worked out exactly as it should have. Not against them personally. I just don't even understand their names, but why are they there? Again, Travis Scott, again, it ruined everything. Little Yachty with Trick Williams and Sami Zayn, no issue. It doesn't affect anything. Eric Bischoff was so fun to watch. Oh yeah, 3-minute warning. Again, Raw was we need to bring that back. I know shows just blend in together now with Raw and SmackDown despite being a brand split. That's the stuff you need to bring back. One show has to, that's why NXT was so great. NXT was pure wrestling, but that's what made it great. It had an identity. It had a self-contained NXT. When I refer to NXT, I mean NXT Black and Gold. Well, for one, it helped when it was exclusively on the network, so it just had that specific fan base, but it was essentially pure wrestling. For them, like 90% of it was wrestling, then you had your storylines, whatever, but 90% of wrestling. It was self-contained. Raw needs to be strictly storylines. Raw needs to be strictly storylines, and SmackDown needs to be strictly wrestling. If they do that, I feel like they'll have identities again. When they're just essentially blended in with just character rosters, cast or whatever, it is what it is. I'm basically watching two of the same show. And if I'm only going to watch one, I'm just going to watch Raw. I'm going to watch both, but it's like, that's why brand splits actually work. But when you keep putting people on the same show, it doesn't work. what's this wrestling stuff that cuts into my ads? Like, I know that doesn't. Well, that's a whole nother issue, but that's more of them being on Netflix. Like, obviously, if you notice, SmackDown doesn't have that issue. It's literally just a Netflix thing. SmackDown does not have that issue. It's just how network, because Netflix, the pin system sucks, bro. I'm sorry. The pin system sucks in this game. Oh my god. The timing is so off. I'm so glad they changed it in the current games. HLA was good too. Hot lesbian acts. Again, Raw was so good, but it can't do anymore because people are gonna be bitching and complaining. We can't. That era is gone, folks. That era is gone. Personally, all the ads on the ring mat is so ugly. It's a method. I mean, it's a ends to a means. If it means more money, I know they're firing talent. Ironically, funny how that works out. I don't inherently have the issue with the. It's so minute. It's like such a minute thing. Who cares? That's the least of the problems. I get like aesthetically it looks. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like remember Rey Mysterio. I remember like Rey Mysterio and Dominic with the cinnamon toast crunch. I thought that was funny. It worked out for the match, and then Sol Ruka, she was the costume. It worked out. This game is so forgettable, and that's essentially so. Yeah, we're pretty much we reached the end of the stream. Mania had a lot of short matches. It was weird, a lot of ads, but I understand the ads because like big event people. Here's the thing: it's like again, it's ends to a means. You do realize wrestlers back in the day, like Hogan's in the era, I know people are complaining now. They would have loved this. Less work for more money. That's all they want to do is make. Again, Kevin Nash is all about making money. You know how much they would be loving it if they could do so much less work. That's what WCW was. That's why people love going over there for more money for less work. What people are living, the wrestlers that they're doing right now, they would have killed for it back in the Ruthless Aggression era and Attitude era. For it to be how it is now. You notice wrestlers aren't complaining. It's just the fans. I know the fans watch, but it's just like you notice wrestlers aren't actually complaining about how things are currently. They wish they could do more for less. Mania had a so yeah, I love the WD era from 2000, but times has changed. I know it is like I get it. People are gonna look at it as objectifying women. No, it wasn't objectifying women. Again, I know this is gonna be a hot take. I have no issue with women's wrestling. Again, Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair are one of my favorite wrestlers. We're gonna have to have a. I hate to say it. We're gonna have a conversation. Women's wrestling is not the draw. It was loving women. I know women's wrestling is not the draw that people think it is. You have people on the internet saying it's the best thing since like women's wrestling is not a draw, and I hate to point to case in point. Look at Evolution. I'm not talking about the one at currently. I'm talking about the first one that they gave it a chance for. Women's wrestling is not the draw people think it is. And that's why Triple H prioritizes it as he does. But then people complain about when it's like he gives it a chance, but no one cares. And the grand scheme of things, no one cares. It's not a bad thing. But it's like, I know it might be crazy. Men, it's just inherent. It's just me. It's kind of like sport. It's same thing. I mean, look at it like sports. Men aren't going to watch women's sports. It's not that they're bad. It's just it's just a different. I'd rather watch the men do it. It's like if they're doing the same thing. I'd rather just watch the. I'm not gonna get into it, but it's just like it is what it is. I have no issue. Again, I love Becky Lynch. I love Bianca Belair. I love Io Sky too and Asuka. But it's just like I guess you can't have both. It's just like it's. Vince McMahon knew what he was doing when he had it. Triple H tried with the women, and it worked. It worked for a certain group of audience. When it was just pure wrestling for the women, it worked for NXT. But with this main roster stuff, you try to make it equal to the men. I'm not saying that they can't. Oh my god, you're gonna think I'm a sexist. I'm a sexist person. It's like I'm not saying that they. I'm going to say the thing that no one wants to say. You're trying to present women as equal to the men on the main roster, but it's just like they're not the same draw. You just again, I know Rhea Ripley gets the crowd reaction that she gets, but she's not drawing the building. I'm sorry, those people are not paying to see Rhea Ripley. She's just another name on the roster. I hate to say it. I love Rhea Ripley to death. I think she's great. She has a great look. She has a unique look to her, but it's just like she's not drawing the arena. It's like you gotta understand that, guys. Like you're inflating people getting again, Tori Wilson got a pop. She wasn't drawing the arena, guys. So let's be real here. Like this is my point. It is the equivalent to that. It's like women got pops all the time in the crowd, but it's like they weren't drawing the building. It's so missed. Oh, my favorite WrestleMania of all time. Honest, I know it's gonna sound crazy. You would think since I grew up the Attitude Era, I'll say like 17 and 19. I like them for specific matches from top to bottom. It's a tie between 26 and 31. I like 26 overall because they had some sleeper, like they had some good sleeper matches, but I feel like WrestleMania 31 from top to bottom was like there was like not one bad match on the card. Every match from top to bottom was so good at WrestleMania 31. I feel like that was the most consistent WrestleMania. Like WrestleMania 19 is up there like match wise and quality wise, but like just terms of just pure top to bottom, there was no bad match. WrestleMania 31, I feel like is a good WrestleMania for me. My favorite. That's why it's like WrestleMania 19 is not bad. They were just questionable matches that shouldn't even been like. Again, much like Undertaker. Undertaker versus Big Show and A-Train was not a WrestleMania match. I know the streak had to continue, but it's like we could have waited till next year. Undertaker and Kane. Like, come on, Big Show versus and A-Train versus Undertaker was not a WrestleMania match. I'm sorry, and this is coming from the biggest Undertaker fan of all time. But like WrestleMania 31, solid card. Like every match deserved to be on that card at WrestleMania, in my personal opinion. With Jay-Z, but that was on the kickoff show. They had to cancel John Cena, and he was just John Cena was talking on the kickoff show. They could still wrestle, just not as good as current women's pro wrestlers. I could be wrong. I feel like Orton's Gunther SummerSlam retirement match for Orton, but unlike others, Randy wins. No, I think it's gonna be Brock and Gunther at SummerSlam because that's Brock's hometown. WrestleMania 19. Again, if WrestleMania 17 didn't exist, I think a lot of people would be saying WrestleMania 19 is the greatest WrestleMania of all time. I know 17 is considered great because it's the end of the Attitude Era, and I mean WrestleMania 17 it felt like a storybook ending to an era. It actually felt like the end of an era. With first of all, thank you for stopping by, Mike Henry. I just feel like WrestleMania 17 was literally you could check mark, close the book on the Attitude Era. It ended right here. It ended right here. The storybook ending. WrestleMania 17. If 17 did not exist, people give it the 19 because like that was like peak ruthless aggression, the best wrestling you could possibly get in the storylines from Raw and SmackDown. That was good. But for me personally, WrestleMania 31 was just good. But I don't want to hold you guys up any longer. But again, I like this conversation, and you guys, anyone play on PC? New people are still coming in even after the stream. I appreciate. Laura, we're about to end the stream. I appreciate you stopping by. I'm on. I'm actually a PC player. So we can talk about maybe tomorrow if you stop by. But just thanks for stopping by anyway. But yeah, 2K17. As you guys see on the stream, the fact that we went completely off topic again, I have no issue with this. That's the whole point of live streams anyway, just to talk to the people who are here to viewers. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. I had this good conversation. That's what it's all about. But 2K17, as you can see, the fact that we deviated so much from it goes to show my point of this game. If you already had, you see the contrast between what we did yesterday with 2K16 and 17. If you already had 2K16, there was no reason to buy 2K17. In a vacuum, is it a bad game? No. But everything I just showed you in 2K17 was in 2K16. 2K17 didn't even have a showcase. It just had a whole, like, this is my point. It's like there was nothing to it. But the next WWE game, there is something different. The graphics. Because they dropped last gen and they updated the graphics, make them look more realistic than ever. And then that's it. But we're going to talk about that with 2K18 when graphics are just not enough to sell the game with 2K18. But thanks everyone who was here. I have the best wrestling game, dude. I can share my SmackDown. Here comes the pain version. I guess we can talk about that tomorrow, man. Have a good night. The stream is bad. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you could understand through our conversations why I did this event in the first place. I was hoping few people understand, but you guys, you are my people. I appreciate you guys being here. I play 2K19 for all because I don't know, 2K26 I haven't felt totally. 2K26 best gameplay. They just care about the wrong thing with my faction island. You should start a wrestling podcast. Maybe one day. Take care. Yep. So thank you guys who was here. Was a quick shout out. Everyone who was here. Famik was here earlier. I can only go so far. Michael, Mustafa, the final boss, Red. Michael already said. TDB. Thanks, man. appreciate you being here. Michael, you said that. Who else was here? Sarah was here and Locke was here earlier. Appreciate it. Mike. I think that everyone I can see. And then Lord, who just stopped by earlier. Again, whatever you're saying, we could just talk about tomorrow. But yeah, thanks for everyone who stopped by. We will be here tomorrow with 2K18.